Big O, we told you we ain't playing no games, man. It's just truly, probably Pablo, Culture, Lord Productions.
Good morning, South Florida.
This is the Big O Show.
You're tuned into the Big O Show.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. Judge, you tuned in to the hottest sports radio show with Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams, from the Dolphins to the Heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, Friday Pablo in the Big O Show. Oh, on the radio, the top's where we gonna go. Miami, that's the way we roll. Locked on the morning show, Big O. No one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk live and direct. Because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live, it's the best of the best. He's got the fans, got the heat, he's the best of the best. Big O, the only talking sports with a style. Break it a morning, it's Big O-N. Thank you for tuning in, keeping it glued in. Stay tuned, because right here's where the rumors in. Same place, because right here some of them begin. Simply call and just state your opinion. Real talk, sports talks, the Big O Show. Yeah, you love it, yeah, you like it, call him and let him know. Culture, probably Pablo. Now introducing the man of the hour, Big O, a.k.a. Orlando Gary. Yeah.
Ready to rock.
All that for an audience of one.
That's it. That's it. That's it. But that's all that counts, because we're not open yet at VSS West Pines. And we'll be open in a few minutes at the top of the hour at noon. You'll be able to come on in and get your great CBD products and join us. We'll be out here for a couple of hours like we always are every Wednesday out here at VSS West Pines. Jose is out here cracking the whip already. So come on by, 12397 Pembroke Road. We'll be out here. I'll be out here today till 2 o'clock. That's why we came on a little earlier today. We normally come on at noon, but we've got a football game tonight. Yeah. Inter Miami taking on Atlanta United. I hope you're listening to the radio broadcast. We will start our pregame coverage at 7:30. Find the links on my Facebook page, on my Twitter page, all that good stuff. And you can join us there for all of that. Dougie Fresh, if you're watching, I got your Devo shirt on, my man. So, in fact, you sent it here. So I figured, we washed it and ready to go. Because I always got to wash my stuff. Every time I get something new, masks or concert shirts or anything that I get, I always wash it first, and then I wear it. You know what I'm saying?
So the Devo came home from its place of origin for you.
Yes.
When you opened the box.
Exactly. It's a beautiful thing. So Doug and Victoria out there, always very kind watching the show, and, always all of you are always spoiling us with all kinds of gifts. So I appreciate it. So I figured I'd wear the Devo shirt in your honor, Doug and Victoria. Thank you very, very much.
Sorry, we don't have the helmet. Obviously, that's for Stanley C. Panther.
Yeah, you're right, exactly. Mark Dacascos joined us yesterday, the actor and martial arts expert. I rented the movie yesterday, one night in Bangkok with the wife. I watched it. And it was excellent. Really enjoyed it. I thought Mark did an outstanding job as an actor. The way he was torn. I don't want to give you too much on the movie because I don't want to spoil it for you. But it's available for digital download, and I was able to watch it yesterday after talking to Mark and having him on the show. I had not seen the movie. You know what I mean? So I was intrigued by the storyline of it. I downloaded it yesterday. Again, don't want to give away too much. The girl who's, I don't know, maybe she's known more overseas or something. She's cute. The driver that he picks in the movie, and interesting movie, and the way he's torn, as a father. Anybody that's a parent could probably relate a lot to the character in some ways. In other ways you can't, but in some ways you will. So just in case, if you were thinking about watching the movie, I watched it yesterday. It's a good movie, man. You'll enjoy it. Well worth it. I think it was $5.99, the rental. Not a big deal. So I ended up doing it, and listen, the guy was kind enough to come on the show and do the interview with us, and I thought he was terrific too. So if you missed it, you can go back to our podcast and listen to it. The links are there. You can go to our Twitter page. The links are there.
Segment number 17.
There you go, segment 17 on the show yesterday. So check it out right there. Dougie Fresh says, "Oh, damn, your shirt game is straight today. Duty now for the future." All right. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I've been working on the coal mine. Yes. That's right. Working on the coal mine. Woo! I love that song. I love Devo, actually. Devo's one of those bands.
Part of the soundtrack, heavy metal. Working on a coal mine.
Working on a coal mine, yes. Yes, you are correct, sir. Yes. Love that song, man. And even their version of Satisfaction was was different.
Can't give me no satisfaction.
Go reaction. I loved it. It was good. It was good. Because everybody, obviously the average person just knows them for Whip It, But they've actually got a whole bunch of songs.
It's really weird, Devo, Whip It. You remember Flying Lizards had the song Money. And it was at this. I always correlate those two, and around that same time, obviously, B-52s, Rock Lops, all of that kind of all goes together. For sure. It's the same era. Yeah, I'm with you there. Let me see what we got on the chat board already. It's kind of active. John Santos is in the house. Lewis Bryant's checking in from Atlanta. Man of 1,005 holds. DJ Gallagher. He says, morning to party people out there. Herman Cueva. Buenos dias a todos. Good morning to all. Have a great day. Ian from Brooklyn. Eugene 96. Big O. Locked at Publix Warehouse in Boynton. I love it. Love it, Eugene. Thank you, my brother. Samuel Rabina. Good morning, Big O. How about the Marlins last night? How about Rogers? Nice young talent. Man, all of those guys. Travis Rogers. Castano had a nice outing yesterday. First time they have 2 shutouts in Marlins history in a doubleheader. They're 14-11. Meanwhile, they're 1-5 at home. You're sweating a little bit when it's the 8th inning and they got runners on the corners and Alonso's up. When he popped up, man, and the stolen base. Yes. Dude. Yeah. Getting down and doing the crab. It looked like football practice. Was Steen second or Steen third or stealing home? Yeah, right. Stealing home when he's stumbling and starts doing the crab crawl, that was awesome, bro. That's Billy Ball, baby. That's what that's called. That's Billy Ball right there. So, yeah, great stuff by the Marlins, man. That was a lot of fun. I watched a bunch of that yesterday. The basketball game got out of hand quickly. I thought maybe, Dallas would, lose, but a little closer, and no. It did not, but we hit the over on the other one, so Dallas should have just stayed in the hotel room, bro. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. They've had every bad break in the book in that series. Let's see, DJ Gallagher. That's a hell of a way to start a show. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'd hate to hear O's orgasm scream. Yes, that orgasm. It's similar. It's similar. It's kind of That's kind of it. Herman says, Big O, what an entrance. Thank you. The Big O, that Doc Rivers interview. I know. We'll play that for you. Let's see. What else do we have? NorCal says, what's up, Falkers? Hope everyone has a great day. I really like Bud. Yeah, there you go. My kid Jay.
Big O, Byron Jones is getting roasted in training camp. Everybody's taking a turn. Yeah. Do you have a different take every day, or do you have, or is it the same one, Miami Kid Jay? I'm just wondering. I mean, are you remember those? I even forgot the name of those guys a couple months ago. Pellegrini or something? Was it Pellegrino or something? I don't know. It gets kind of old.
What,
and
the guys that you had to excommunicado?
Yeah. They were doing the same thing. They had a same take every day and then never changed. So I'm not sure. Are you choosing to go down this road, Miami Kid Jay? Because I do remember that's all you've been saying the last couple of days. So, I mean, is that what you're going to post every day? Are you going to be worried about training camp? It's kind of like, the whole Tua thing now. It's one day he looks great. One day he doesn't. One day we want him to start. The next day, oh, my God, get Fitzpatrick back. It's just ridiculous. Look, I've been doing this for 30 years, okay? And let me tell you what I've learned a lot in 30 years. But what I've also learned about football and about football preparation and practices is that as the years have gone on, the preparation's gotten softer. There's less preparation going on in the offseason. And this year, there's even less than ever. And this year, they got together, and they're kind of like on eggshells just trying to get to the regular season. Because they're trying to avoid this COVID crap, like all of us every single day of our lives, trying to avoid COVID. And so you're not going to really find out about people until they actually play the real games against real competition, against people on the other side that are trying as hard as you are, okay? And Byron Jones at this point, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Portland winning game 1 and people all of a sudden thinking that Portland is going to, win this series. Like Charles Barkley, right? He was on that stupid train. Well, Portland's going to win this series. Bro, I don't care if Damian Lillard has an injury or no injury. They were going to lose this series. But the Lakers weren't motivated the entire time in the bubble because they had nothing to play for. And all you did with that win was give them a wake-up call, and that's it. And eventually, the two best players on the court start playing ball. It's over. That's all. And all that Portland talk has died down. Orlando won their first game. All that talk has died down. We overreact on all this stuff, and you have no substance. Byron Jones is a hell of a corner. The guy got a hell of a contract from the Dolphins, or he would have gotten a big contract from Dallas or somebody else. He was going to get big money because he's a player. Is he a guy that gets a bunch of interceptions? No. But I'm not going to overreact about Byron Jones playing well or not playing well, because the guy's already proven that he plays well in the regular season. I don't care. And as for Tua, the kid's not even going to play when the season starts. He's just getting his feet wet now after having his hip surgically repaired, and he hasn't played football since November. So the kid now, the next time he takes the field, he's playing against NFL competition. So now he's got to also raise up his level of play, adjust to the game speed at this level, and he's doing it all from a hip injury. I'm not worried about Tua right now, bro. I'm not worried. It's this whole thing, like, it just gets ridiculous. And, we got the Weaver thing now, right? So Curtis Weaver gets released. All of a sudden, that was a grave mistake. How do we know? I mean, he's a 5th-round pick. I don't know. Sure, he could be Davin Godchow. And maybe he could be Zach Thomas. I get it. Look, I know the 5th-round picks that have hit and have missed. Wasn't Tim Bowens? No, it wasn't Tim Bowens. It was it's another lineman we had years back that was a 5th rounder and was pretty good. It's happened. I get that. We've had all kinds of players come through that were terrible as fifth rounders and were great. But I won't know if this was a good move or a bad move for 2 years. 2 years. Because you're not going to find out this year because he's going to have surgery. He's out for the year with the Browns, so you won't see him this year. So then he'll rehab and he'll start next year, and you won't find out till the end of next year whether the guy's a good player or not, whether he can make the Browns roster or not. But all of a sudden, a bunch of you out there are way better GMs than anybody that takes the field. I think I was reading Barry Jackson's article, and he was saying, well, the mistake, clearly a mistake. Well, how do you know it's a mistake? What the hell do you know about the kid? And he didn't do enough to impress you or depress you as fans. But obviously, behind the scenes, he must have not done enough to impress them. And that's all that counts. So 2 years from now, we'll find out if they made a mistake. Now, if you want to hang on for 2 years, you go ahead. I'll focus on Lawson and Agba and Strobridge and Wilkins and Godchow and Van Noy and everybody else that's on this football team. Okay? I'm going to worry about the Dolphin players that are here. I'm going to worry about the Patriot game in week 1. I'm going to worry about the offensive line. Okay? I'm not going to waste my time in this mental masturbation about whether Curtis Weaver is a good player or not when none of us know if he's a good player or not. We have no freaking idea. Only time is going to answer this thing. But the one answer you're not going to get on most players right now is whether they are going to be good or bad when we've been, 10 days into training camp? I mean, you heard the coach 2 days ago or yesterday. We got 14 practices before the start of the regular season. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. 14 practices. Is that supposed to, polish up every coal and make it a diamond at that point in 14 practices? Is some young man that comes from college supposed to all of a sudden prove that he's worthy and he's going to be great for you in 14 practices? Or are we going to see it more in the regular season when he gets railroaded by the Patriots in week 1, but then in week 10, he comes back and looks like a completely different player? Because we all would have cut Nick Needham in training camp, in the preseason, and in week 1 and 2 of the regular season. Do you cut Nick Needham in week 8? Do you cut him in week 12? In week 16? Because we all would have said, oh, they cut Nick Needham in training camp. Oh, yeah, that guy sucks. That was the impression. We haven't seen squat from Weaver. And yet some of us are complaining about the fact that he got cut, and we don't even know if he can play or not. With Nick Needham, we saw he couldn't play early on. I mean, that dude was making mistakes left and right. He was terrible. But yet they didn't cut him, and they hung on to him. So something behind the scenes, they must have liked about Nick Needham that they didn't like about Curtis Weaver. I don't know what it is. Is my headset off or something? Because I'm not hearing myself right now. I don't know. I hope. Okay, there we go. There we go. No, it left again. I don't know what that. Let me see. Anyway, so all right, there. Oh, you got it. You had it for a second. You may want to change the cable or something. Change the cable, bro. What's it called? You look at this situation, and the problem with fans and some media members is you actually don't look at things objectively. You don't look at things with some common sense. And you have to, in the end, you have to trust these guys. Are they going to be perfect? Here's the other thing. Did some of you out there that were complaining about Curtis Weaver, did you think every draft pick was going to make this team? I'm wondering. Do you think every draft pick was going to make this team? Or do you think there was going to be some failure along the way with several of their picks? Because I expected it. I didn't expect all 13 players to make the roster. And whatever undrafted free agents they signed, all of them, oh, yeah, no, these guys are such geniuses that they're going to hit on every pick. No, the idea of collecting and accumulating a lot of them is so when you do miss, you still have a good group of players that you hit on. That's the idea. So if you draft 13 and you miss 6, but you hit on 7, that's a monster draft class. Because normally you get 7, and if you hit on 3 or 4, you've had a monster draft. Monster draft if you've hit on 3 or 4 out of your 7. So guys were going to fail. And by the way, these guys are going to fail too. They're going to cut the wrong people. Sometimes they'll trade the wrong guy. Sometimes they'll sign the wrong guy. It's the other way. That's the problem. So, you know what I mean? That's why you can't look at this situation and all of a sudden say, oh, no, well, they made a mistake with Weaver. Guy hasn't proven anything. He didn't even show us what Nick Needham showed us early on. And this is also a different year. Teams are up against, a tough situation. They've got to make quick decisions in 14 practices. They don't have them for 5 months walking around, attending meetings, going through walkthroughs, mini camps, training camp, preseason. You're around the guy for 5 months. Now you can really see his work ethic and his dedication. There's a whole different ballgame when you've got 5 months to do this than when you've got only less than, a month. You got 4 weeks to get ready. And you got 14 practices to get ready for an entire regular season. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't an easy thing for anybody. And to make it sound like they've got this thing down pat and they're going to be able to figure everything out and they're going to get every decision right and they're not going to miss, it's impossible. But nobody knows whether Curtis Weaver can play or he can't play. Nobody knows yet whether Tua is on the right track or not on the right track. What I do know is he's not out boozing. He's not out going out with IG models. He's not staying out late. He's not a bad dude. He's dedicated. He's a professional. So he's going to give himself every fighting chance to get in there. But on a season like this, you have to have patience with that position because you cannot put a young man out there when, one, mentally he doesn't have everything, down pat. 2, the people in front of him, those positions aren't settled yet, and they're untested. Okay? Nick Needham was getting tested and was terrible early on and then got better as the season got on. I'm sure that's going to happen to some of these linemen. They're going to be terrible early on, and then they'll figure it out, hopefully, and then you'll get an offensive line together. And then when you get an offensive line together, then all of a sudden Tua will be ready to go out there because he'll have time. He had watched Fitz prepare for several teams throughout the week in practice and everything else. And now all of a sudden, the kid is ready to jam. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm telling you, you guys gotta have patience. And yes, perfect. And you gotta relax because you don't have the answers. And you're not better than Chris Greer or Marvin Allen or Reggie McKenzie or anybody else in the front office. You don't know more than they do. Maybe Curtis Weaver is a guy that's not dedicated. Maybe he's going to be a Pro Bowler. I have no idea. But this whole overreaction, man, what a joke, dude.
Remember Weaver? Wasn't he supposed to be taken in the 3rd round, something like that, and he dropped?
Yeah.
And now he's, you know what I mean? He's sliding the wrong direction, correct?
There was something they didn't like. You know what I mean? Something they didn't like. What else do we have? Big O, I live in Dallas. Yes, dude, I get it. You saw the kid last year. I just hope, yeah. Again, bro, change your tune, bro. Change your tune. Change your tune, because if it's the same shit every day, I'm not dealing with it, okay? When it actually happens, then you can complain. But when you start complaining about training camp, dude, I lose pretty much all respect for you. I just want you to know that, okay? I just want you to know that. If you start complaining about a player in training camp with no offseason, I can get it if it's training camp after the entire offseason's gone on. You know, that's a whole different ballgame. But if you're complaining about something with a couple of practices, 7 practices in, I mean, give me a break, dude. I'm assuming it was his work ethic, perhaps. They said he was a class clown in college. Maybe that carried over, just guessing. I don't know. But they didn't like him, obviously. They definitely knew something we don't know about him. Did you know all the crap that was going on with Antonio Brown behind the scenes in the Steelers? Did you know all the crap with Le'Veon Bell? No, I don't think so. Until we find out publicly. And then you start finding out privately, he did this, and this, and then you're like, wow, holy crap, they put up with that much? That's how it goes. Big O, instead of criticizing, this is the same staff that finds gems like Preston Williams and Nick Needham. I just mentioned Nick Needham, right? He came off the scrap heap, right? And that's a serviceable dude. That's a really good backup corner for you now. So if they can find those kind of guys, I got to trust them on this. And, okay, look, we'll get pissed off about Curtis Weaver getting released 2 years from now. But do you think I'm going to sit here and get an ulcer worried about Curtis Weaver for 2 years? No, dude. No. I got a lot of things to focus on with the Dolphins this year if they play. And if they're able to get through a season with COVID, I'm excited to see what Fitz and company do this year. I'm excited to see whoever, Jason Stowbridge play. I don't care who it is. Malcolm Perry. I want to see all these young cats play. That's what I'm going to focus. I'm going to use the line that coaches use. I'm going to focus on the players that are here. I'm not going to focus on the players that are not here. Okay? This doesn't make any sense.
The ratio of right calls to wrong calls with players in relation to players.
Yeah.
How many times have they been wrong? It's very small.
And they haven't been here long enough for that either to measure them. You know what I mean? Because this is the first time they're all in charge and getting to do this kind of stuff. But again, time will answer those kind of things. But we've got to give time to pass.
Of the 10 practices, whatever.
7.
How many have been in Padzo?
Only a few.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Craig Gordon says, hey, we're talking about practices, not a game, but practice. Allen Iverson is smiling somewhere. Exactly. Wow, I didn't get my notification, says Matthew Walker. Let's see. Miami Kid J says, I'll come talk to you during the season. You won't if he's kicking ass. I've been doing this for 30 years, okay? You only show up when you're right. When you're wrong, you'll never show up. Like, I had a couple guys on Twitter. Oh, look out. Oh, Portland. After the first game, I'm like, dude, please. They're not going to win this series. Have I heard from those guys now? Nah. I'm never going to hear from them again. Love the Devo shirt. Thank you, Super Boom Shack. You can thank Dougie Fresh, who sent it to me. Thank you very much. So many guys have practiced like crap, but balled out in games. Some fans need to give it a rest. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Just chill out already. It's just we don't have the answers. All right. Top of the hour here. It is noon. If you want to reach out to us on the text line, it's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the text line, that's 786-322-1105. You can also reach out to us on the email, orlando@bigoradioshow.com. Twitter, Big O Show. Plenty of things to talk about. We'll get into a little more Dolphins talk. I got some basketball talk I want to get into.
The doors here are about to open, 3 minutes away. Come and see us.
Yeah, that's right. Come on out here, 12397 Pembroke Road. We'll be out here till about 2 o'clock. I got a bunch of music news. I got to give you my NBA picks for today after going 1-1.
That's better than 2 and 3, bro.
I do have some.
Okay.
I do have a couple of funky stories outside of sports, and kind of fun stories to talk about, and stuff that might gross you out a little bit, because it's kind of grossing me out. But we'll talk about that on the other side. Back with more right here on the Big O Show.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021. At Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
Let's see. Pat Nashville says, wasn't Marino notoriously a bad camp QB? Not really. It wasn't that he was a bad camp QB. It wasn't like, you were jogging and doing, all kinds of gassers. He wasn't going to be doing that. There were certain things that
he didn't have to do the 10-minute run at the end of practice.
But you get to a point when you're Marino, why the hell should you have to do that stuff? You know what I mean? And if you're Shula, why would you make him do that stuff? And Marino, when you had to scrimmage, then he balled out. That's the difference. Keith Jackson wasn't a great practice guy either, but when you scrimmaged or when you played in a game, he balled out. You know what I mean? He kind of hung out throughout the week, caught a couple balls, but then on Sunday, the dude would show up and make plays. And you got to just hand it to them. Look, there are guys that don't practice well, and then they play well. But when you're a rookie, I don't think that's an option for you. You need to practice well. You need to do great in meetings. You need to be on time. And I don't know what Weaver didn't do. I'm not giving you any kind of insight here on it. But obviously he must have done stuff that they weren't happy with. Look, coaches can deal with guys making some mistakes and getting burned or doing something wrong, but the effort is there, the attention to detail is there, the commitment to the practice session or the classroom session or the weight training session is elite. You're giving your effort, but you're not there yet as a player. They can kind of deal with that because if they feel you have the talent and yet you're putting in all the work, I'll give you an example. Do any of you watch Hard Knocks? Yesterday, I watched the 3rd episode. One of the themes in that episode was Anthony Lynn. And by the way, the more I see Anthony Lynn, damn, dude, the more I like him. Like, yeah, I didn't know too much about him as an assistant coach, but damn, dude, the more I see that guy and hear him talk and all that, I really like how he holds men accountable and how he treats them, and the brutal honesty that he has. And one of the themes yesterday was, if you can't block, you can't be on my team. And so the receivers coach, McKeegan, I think is his name or something, and I remember him as a backup player or something like that. He's mother effing and F dropping and all kinds of stuff to his guys. And hey, I've been the nice guy to tell you got to block. I've been the a-hole guy to tell you to block. I've been trying to communicate that you got to block and this and that. And then they're showing examples on the board of a couple guys, or on the film, a couple guys just, whiff blocking and ole and all that. And he's just going off on it. You know what I mean? And he's saying, look, man, I was a low-level wide receiver. Anthony Lynn was a backup running back. We were special teamers. We had to kill ourselves to just make a football team. You know what I mean? So, and we knew the importance of blocking. If you can't block, you won't play for Anthony Lynn. And then later on, they show Anthony, going through some film, and he's like, man, if you don't block, you don't play for me. And he's just mumbling around, and it's just one of those things. And that shows you exactly what they're talking about. You might, like they said yesterday, if you're the number 3, 4, 5 wide receiver, you better learn how to block. And in other words, what he's saying is the 1 and 2, they're not going to play special teams. But the 3, 4, and 5s, they need you on teams. So you better know how to block. You better block on offense. You better block whenever you're called upon to block. And if you're giving them effort and you're working hard, but you're not perfect on the field yet, they can deal with that. But if you're not perfect on the field and you're also late and you're not studying hard and you're getting everything wrong in class and you're not going to the weight room and you're not doing your reps the way you're supposed to and you're not paying attention to rehab, and I could just go on and on and on and on of all the different examples that if you don't show that you're a professional, and then it equals why you're slacking on the field. And then that's why they cut your ass. They don't cut your ass for fun. Okay? They all these cats need to win. Especially the Dolphin front office and coaching staff, right? Because it's minorities. And minorities in any part of life feel a little more pressure than others, because when they get the opportunity, and sometimes they don't get it as much as others, they feel like they have to be exceptional, right? Whenever a woman gets a job, you will watch her when she enters a man's world, the woman has to go above and beyond, she feels, in order to be accepted, in order to be respected, and in order to get promoted and get to a point where she really wants to be at. And she almost feels like she has to do it twice as better as the man. That's just the way it is. You know what I mean? So these guys, do you think they're going to cut Weaver when they think he can help? And maybe they feel, you know what, a couple of years from now, he might turn out to be all right, but we don't have a couple of years. Because right now, I just told you, we're not going to find out about Weaver for 2 years. So now he's got to sit there for a year. Then you got to bring him back next year. And then it's like his rookie year starts all over again. And then you'll find out whether he can play or not. So 2 years in, you find out he can't play, you let him go, and it's, okay, so how much time do we spend on this fifth rounder? So Weaver must not have done enough for them to say the sacrifice isn't worth it. Now we'll find out 2 years from now whether they were right or wrong. So, again, chill out a little bit.
I'm going to point out again, the evaluations for he slipped. He was supposed to be a third rounder. He went to 5. Now he's off the team. This guy's on decline. Something's up.
Yeah. Life is a Gamble says, hit the like button. I can't believe almost 70 in the room and can only come up with 12 likes. Smash it like you'll smash Cardi in that video. They do look hot. I'll give them that. I'll give them that. No doubt. Isn't that the one with Megan Thee Stallion? Tell you what, Megan Thee Stallion put out a video. I'm not going to play it here because there's too many F-bombs and the N-bombs, which obviously we cannot be airing the N-bombs. That you know, I don't mind airing an interview and it may have an F-bomb or two. She dropped like 400 F-bombs and she dropped like 4,000 N-bombs. But I got to tell you, her message was like, if it didn't pierce right through you and so you could like understand where she's coming from, I just, you know, props to her. That's all I can say. And the other thing that I'll keep saying to her, and I'll say to everybody else and any of you out there, you hit the lottery and you're single. You become famous and you're single. You become a movie star, a rock star, an actor. You become an athlete that's rich and famous. Ladies and gentlemen, go out with people that have as much to lose as you. Don't ever go out with people that have nothing to lose, and you have everything to lose. And that's what's happened to Megan. That's what happens to many, many people, that once they get somewhere, it sucks sometimes that you kind of got to move on a little bit, and maybe you got to separate yourself from certain people. But if you don't, they're going to bring you down. And that's what she's got to figure out now. She's got to hang out with people that have as much to lose as her. That's all.
You know what always comes back in my head? Remember Shane Curry, our Hurricane? It was the first, second-round pick in that draft. Went to Indianapolis. He went back home.
I know. I'm just trying to figure out where you're going.
New Year's, he went back home. Like, he went back home to go to a neighborhood party, whatever, you know, like you're talking about, and got murdered.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Remember?
Okay, yeah.
And it's like, man, you did all this work and stuff to get out of there. Leave it behind, man. All it's going to do is drag you back down.
That's right. That's right.
Shane Curry's always hurt me, bro.
And Megan will eventually, I hope she learns it if she wants to stay on top. Because if not, you know, that's unfortunately too many jealous people, too many idiots, and they'll bring you down, man. They'll bring you down. Good call. I forgot I like it. Must have got a seed this morning. That's what NorCal says. Thank you. R. Castello says, but we, like you said, not enough time. How can they evaluate him with no preseason? Well, they've had meetings, my brother. There have been other things going on. They weren't practicing, but they were meeting. So they were meeting throughout the last couple of months. They had their, or what's that called, the virtual meetings and all that. And then they got to the practice facility, and they were starting to work out for a couple of weeks, and then the training camp started. So throughout that time, that's what I'm telling you. You don't know, and I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but something happened behind the scenes, because they said it's not worth it. So again, 2 years, okay? I'm not going to be talking about this for 2 years. I'm talking about it today. Eventually, I'm just going to move on already. You know what I mean? And you know how it is on this show. It's not something that we harp on for the entire show. We're going to say our piece, and we're going to move on. You want to hear it again? You could go back and download it if you want.
It's capsuled on SoundCloud and all the Spotify, everything. You know, it's there, podcast for you.
So you won't. I'm not going to hang on this thing too long. But like I said, they must have seen something that they didn't like. All right, 786-322-1105. Bengals cornerback Mackenzie Alexander. He left training camp to help search for his missing father. Well, now he's been arrested after a confrontation with the man who was last with Alexander's father. Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network reports Alexander was arrested on Tuesday night on one count of battery. According to the report, the Collier County, Florida Sheriff's Office arrested Alexander after he confronted the man who left Alexander's father Jean Audney Alexander behind on a berry-picking trip. The search for Alexander has involved sheriff deputies, officers from the Florida Wildlife Commission, search dogs, helicopters. He's been missing since Monday night. That's, man. I mean, listen, it's your father. He's missing. Desperation sets in. You're pissed off. You're worried. And you know.
Emotions are high, bro.
And you know what happens? You start thinking the worst. It's human nature. You know what I mean? That you start thinking the worst has happened when you haven't seen them, for a day, for 2 days, things like that. And so now, and then you hear, I read this story already about the guy that was last with him. So you know how that story goes, right? The person that was last with that person, it's like you automatically become a suspect. You're automatically already thought of as guilty for a lot of people, right? And so who's to say Mackenzie Alexander is not one of those guys that said, this SOB must know something. I got to rattle his cage. Something like that. Because desperation sets in as the seconds, the minutes, the hours go by. As a human being, your desperation level goes up. You know what I mean? The other day, I think it was in Alapata, the little girl that disappeared that was 8 or 10. And, dude, they found her like 2 days later. I was shocked, personally. I think a day had passed and they hadn't found her, and you're thinking the worst. Because, hours after, half a day goes after a child disappears, you almost feel like you'll never find that child again at that point. And they were able to find her, thank the Lord. You know what I mean? So I can imagine that Mackenzie Alexander right now has got to be going through some really, really tough, emotions. And now he gets arrested. And now he doesn't do his father any good getting arrested, and he's not out there searching for him now, which makes it, that much harder for him. And now he's got a burden on him with this. Now the league looks into this. It's a mess. It's a total mess.
Consider when you factor in everything, you can't blame him. You can understand where he's coming from. You know what I mean?
I can understand, but he just brought him on.
It just made it worse.
That's all. It's just, So what are you going to do? Chase Young, by the way, has got a hip injury. Boy, if that happened here, that's it. Fire everybody. He's a bust. Anyway, Chase Young hasn't done much training in training camp. He's got a hip injury that's limited him. He says it's definitely frustrating, Young said. But I got to roll with the punches right now. My biggest focus is just doing everything in my power to get my hip back right. That's what I'm doing every day, and I'm doing my best to get on the field to get mental reps. According to Ron Rivera, he's done a great job showing us he's capable of that. It's unfortunate he's missed a couple days with the hip flexor, but he's had a good couple of days. You see what I'm saying about the good couple of days? Even though he's injured, that's because he's going on his rehab. He's doing the things he's supposed to do to get back on the field. If he was slacking on rehab and slacking in meetings and all of that, Ron Rivera would not say the same thing. Well, it's a shame he can't be on the field. He's got a lot of work to do on and off the field. And he would have left it at that. And then nobody would have known anything, but the message would have been sent to the player. Okay? So that's what I'm saying with the whole Weaver thing, that there has to be more behind the scenes that we don't know about. And again, I got to give them the benefit of the doubt, and we'll wait the couple of years to find out what the hell goes on. Let's see, 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the program, that's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the program, there's many ways to reach out to us. You can also reach out to us on the email orlando@bigoradioshow.com. As always, appreciate it. And just in case, because I didn't hear back from Lisa, I don't know if she was watching yesterday, but Lisa, thank you for the mask with the Rochester love. We appreciate it immensely. Got it over the weekend, so I appreciate that.
Where Lisa's at, I was telling you where my ancestors are from. It's not far from Rochester. It's Perry Castile. Lisa, I don't know how far you are away from there, but that's where we originated from.
Okay. All right. There you go.
Right down, a little bit down the street.
Yep. Tonight we got Inter Miami in action. That's where I'll be leaving at 2 o'clock. Actually, I got a meeting at 3, so that's why I got to get out of here at 2 because we've got a meeting at 3 o'clock, and then I'll relax a little bit and then get ready for the game tonight over at the stadium. So nice long day where I'm not at home today.
Is that for the announcement that we have acquired Messi?
Oh, yeah, that would be nice, right? That would be amazing, bro. That transfer fee is like $800 million. They're going to lower that transfer.
Dreaming's free.
Yeah, they're going to lower that transfer fee, but it's going to be Man City or Chelsea. Somebody like that is going to pick them up.
That's exactly who they said could afford it.
Well, because those are the people that have the money. You know what I mean? It's just there's only a couple of places that are going to spend that, and it's not going to be $800 million.
I heard 700
euro. I don't even think it'll be 700 euro. I think it'll be gone down to 300-400 euro.
Considering how everybody's financially strapped. Like
no, it's not.
Market's got to flood.
He's 33. Fluctuate. No, he's 33 years old.
True,
You're only going to get him for a couple of years, and then he's going to probably leave to the MLS.
What is the drop off? Most soccer players, what's the age?
There's no
36.
No. It could be 33 also.
Really?
Yeah, it could be 33. There could be some guys. Messi doesn't look like he'll drop off right now, but he probably has.
Maybe 3, 4.
I don't know about 4, but I'd say at least 2 to 3 elite years in that league still left. But then at that point, and look, immediately you sign him, you're gonna sell jerseys up the yin yang, bro, all over the world. I mean, this is the biggest story in the world, sports wise. I know in our country it's not that big a deal because soccer's not that big a deal yet in this country. And our league is not at the point where those kind of transfers and those kind of players are very easily could be coming here. That hasn't happened yet. We haven't had that transition yet. We're probably 10 to 15 years away from that kind of transition where the league grows to the point that their salaries get to that point that they can have those kind of players there. Because it's going to happen. It's going to happen because you see all the international matches, how they sell out throughout this country. You see that the Premiership and the Italian League, the ratings that they get and all the people that love it, all the guys here at VSS, most of them are all soccer guys. Yeah, they love, obviously, the Dolphins and basketball and all the American sports, yeah. But a lot of the guys here, they like soccer. And it's gaining more and more and more. Where I've noticed it in our business, it's the younger producers that are coming up, and the younger hosts are the ones that are into soccer, international soccer, and the MLS a little bit, So it's getting to that point, and 10 to 20 years from now, when that turnover is done, and people like me are out of the business, and the Joe Roses of the world and all that, and the younger people are in, you're going to see soccer become more of the fabric of talk sports. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about just MLS. I'm talking about the MLS along with all those international leagues. At the moment, the MLS is not at that level. They can't spend that kind of money. So, when people are asking me about, Messi, I'll mess around with you a little bit and have some fun with it. But I'll tell you right from the get-go, there's no shotties coming here. None. Because they can't afford that kind of a transfer fee. You got to pay that transfer fee, and then you've got to pay the salary. It's just too much.
Could I just say for
a GoFundMe page?
GoFundMe.
Okay. Yeah, but the problem with the GoFundMe is you can only do it for one team. I don't know if you get enough funds because you're not going to get an Orlando City guy to donate to the Inter Miami Fund to get Messi. The Portland Timber fans or the Sounders fans are not going to want us getting Messi. You know what I mean?
I have the idea.
So that's where the GoFundMe, I think, does not work.
If our Inter Miami team cannot get Messi, let Chelsea, who can afford, and our kid Pulisic from the U.S. team gets exposure and playing with Messi.
Yeah, okay.
How about that?
First of all,
it benefits the U.S. team.
I'll tell you what I told Jose yesterday. In a year of a pandemic with no asses in seats, this is not a year where you get any kind of big transfer because you can't get the money back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're going to sell the jerseys, so
but
you'll make your money there.
The beers, the tickets, the turnstiles, the parking.
No, Bubba. The sweet sales and all that other stuff.
You're right.
Because then you already charge for tickets. You can't change the prices anymore. Because when you add a guy like that, prices go up. Okay, when we added LeBron, prices went up for the Heat.
When Brady went to Tampa, Tampa said that next day, hey, guess what? Ticket prices are up.
That's right. That's just the way it goes. Right. So when you add that kind of guy, you know what I mean? If they're going to do something like this, they wait till they get to Miami Freedom Park where they've got 30,000 seats or 30 plus in there, right? And then all their suites, and then they add a guy, maybe not Messi, but a monster, and then they, bring the attention and all the jersey sales and everything else that comes with it. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I would love it. It sounds like a beautiful fantasy, you know what I mean? But we can't expect Jorge Mas to go out and spend, nearly $1 billion of transfer fee. And even if they lowered it from 800 to 700 or 600 or 400 or 300 or 200, he can't pay that either.
Also, euros.
Just too much.
Euros also, I think the dollar is 1.5. So if it's 300, it's $450 million US dollars.
Yeah, too much. Too much. Good afternoon, Big O. Do you have any information from sources how first-round pick Noah has looked in training camp? They say he's looked good. But again, I got to see him with real receivers. And let's wait to the New England game. Let's wait till the first month of the season, and then we'll actually get a good feel for Noah and all these other cats. Supposedly he's looking pretty good. But again, I'm not going by 14 practices. I cannot make a determination on anybody after 14 practices. It's just impossible. I had this issue with Omar. He gave up on Ajayi right away. He gave up on Jakeem Grant right away. It's happened a couple times with me and him there. I'm like, dude, how do you give up on somebody that quickly? You got to give them some time to kind of get acclimated. Young guys take a while. You know what I mean? And hey, look, there are the Magics of the world, like Johnson, I'm saying. There are the Marinos of the world. There are the Michael Jordans of the world. I get it that there are those cats that just make the immediate transition, and they are godlike, and it's awesome. But most of these cats don't play well early on. Most of these cats have to kind of grow into all of this. So let's give them some time. And I've seen plenty of guys that have looked good in training camp, and then when the regular season starts, you can't find them on a milk carton. It's crazy. All right, 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the text line. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the text line. You can also reach out to me on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there as always. Did you see what McDonald's is doing? They are going to have a debut of the spicy chicken nugget. You into nuggets?
No, not at all.
Well, McDonald's is adding the spicy chicken nugget to their menu starting September 16th, marking the first time ever the chain has introduced the new McNugget flavor in the U.S. since the menu item debuted in 1983. The nuggets, which have a tempura coating made with cayenne and chili pepper per a press release, as well as a new hot dipping sauce and new Chips Ahoy McFlurry flavor, will be available at participating restaurants for a limited time. Chips Ahoy McFlurry. Interesting. These spicy nuggets, McDonald's is stepping back into the so-called fast food chain wars that Popeyes kicked off last summer with a direct challenge to Chick-fil-A In the past year, Wendy's brought back its spicy chicken nuggets. KFC tested a new chicken sandwich in Florida, and Taco Bell tested crispy chicken wings at least one location, and McDonald's itself tested 2 new chicken sandwiches at select location and franchises. So the war is going on. Spicy chicken nuggets, I want nothing to do with them.
Have you, watch the commercial when they rip it open. Like you rip, I can't eat that. It's not chicken. It's not a chicken
That's not
strip.
what they say.
Yeah, well.
They say it's a real chicken.
Listen, in this McFlurry idea, look, you know what's the best thing I found out? You get a hot fudge sundae, you get the hot fudge on the side, you want chocolate chip, you get their chocolate chip cookies, the 3 of them. You dip the chocolate chip cookie in the hot fudge, slap the vanilla ice cream on top of that, and take a bite. That is amazing.
I love it. I love it.
It is. You do that, it was like crack for me for like 2 weeks. Every night I was going over there and grabbing a hot fudge sundae, hot fudge on the side with 3 chocolate chip cookies. Man, yeah, it was 2 weeks and I had to stop.
George says, what do you think of the fact that Vegas is saying New England is a fairly big favorite over us in Week 17? I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. They have the track record. They have the coach. Miami doesn't. And they're not looking at what happened in the last game of the year, and they're looking at the turnover with the Dolphins. And I guess the turnover with New England doesn't matter nearly as much, apparently. So I don't know what the point spread is, but if it's big enough, I'm going to take the points for sure, and I'm gonna lay it on Miami because I think Miami is going to win that game. I really do. I think Miami is going to win that game. Yeah.
The only thing is, remember, if you're going to make a bet, wait till right before the game goes off.
Yeah.
So everybody that's supposed to be on the field is on the field.
Must admit that I used to eat McNuggets just for that hot mustard dipping sauce. I mean, I've had McNuggets myself, James. I get the honey mustard. I mean, I've done it too, but it's like a desperation move because there's not much around. I don't feel like eating a lot, so I've done it and I don't even eat all 6 of them. I'll eat like 3 of them just to get something in my stomach, and then I'm done.
Remember,
I've done that. I've done that myself.
McDonald's does have the real chicken strips. When I'm going to go that route, that's where I go.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I can't.
I've tried those, but they're overcooked always. It's too crispy outside, man. It's too much breading on those. That's what I don't like about those. They're what are they?
The ratio to
strips. Yeah, they are called strips.
Yeah, the ratio of meat to breading. You're breaking even. It's not. No.
Thick, the breading on that stuff, man. That's the only thing I don't like. I don't like too much breading on my stuff like that.
You want more substance.
Yeah,
no?
yeah. Or a little less bread because it just kind of just overshadows it.
Exactly.
I feel sometimes. 786-322-1105. You want something disgusting, okay? Listen, spicy chicken nuggets, I can't call them disgusting. It's just not my, cup of tea, especially it's spicy and I'm wimpy because I'm not big on the spicy stuff. I like light spice, but not, heavy spice. Heavy spice is just not good. But here we go. There's a new kind of beer, and it's being introduced this fall thanks to another collaboration between Harpoon Brewery and Dunkin' Donuts. The two companies are launching a series of new coffee beers, okay, and donut-infused beers this fall. Harpoon and Dunkin' have worked together before to make coffee beers, including the Dunkin' Coffee Porter. Now they're expanding that line and adding donut beers. The 3 new beers, including Harpoon Dunkin' Pumpkin Spiced Ladder Ale, the Boston Cream Stout, and the Jelly Donut IPA, are expected to be on shelves this September. These new drinks mark the first time beers have been brewed with actual donuts from Dunkin'. After the extremely positive reaction the Harpoon Dunkin' Coffee Porter received from fans for 2 consecutive seasons, the brewers at Harpoon took it a step further to see what would happen if they brewed a beer made with Dunkin's famous donuts, creating a new lineup that celebrates classic fall coffee and donut flavors. There is no way in the world I am having a donut tasting beer, bro. You interested in any of those, bro? The Dunkin' Pumpkin Spiced Latto Ale?
No, remember, like I told you, going to the vape shop back in the day and buying the tobacco, and it's what flavor? Marlboro Light. I don't want cherry. If I want a watermelon, I'll go buy a watermelon. If I want whatever flavor, that's what I'm going to go buy. Why am I going to get blah, blah favored this? Dude, you drink a beer, you want a beer.
Boston Cream Stout. Ugh.
When you drink a beer, I want beer to taste like beer, not like cherry or orange or
Jelly Donut IPA. That's disgusting, man. Can you get me a French Cruller beer? Is that what we're gonna do now? What do you do with the old fashioned? How do you make that a beer? It's just an old fashioned beer?
The Bear Claw beer.
Oh God. I mean, do you just get what's wrong with just, a Presidente? What's wrong with the Newcastle? You know what I'm saying? Especially on tap. Newcastle on tap. Oh, that is good. How about a little Heineken action, bro? You can never lose at Heineken.
How about some Guinness and having a shot and having a car bomb? An Irish car bomb.
Heineken Draft? Heineken Light? What's wrong with you people out there? A Sam Adams? And I don't even like when they go, Sam Adams also gets kind of cute with some of their beers down the line, but just regular stuff.
My buddy does swear by the Oktoberfest.
Right.
Because it's seasonal. He says that when that comes, that is the bomb.
Well, a lot of people swear by those kind of beers, but I don't like getting too crazy with the flavored type beers. I'm just not that guy, bro. But a Jelly Donut IPA. Man, when I want a beer, I that's what I want, bro. I'm expecting a beer-like flavor.
You want an Alton Munster back in the day, right?
Oh, there you go. Yeah. That's super smooth. That's awesome. I mean, there's so many good beers. Why would you want to go get a Jelly Donut IPA? Dude, just go have a Jelly Donut, and that's it. Just go have your Jelly Donut, have a Coke or a coffee, and have a great night, and that's it. Enjoy yourself. But a Jelly Donut IPA, I think it would make me sick. And a Boston Cream Stout. I don't like Boston Cream Donuts as it is. Why the hell would I want a beer that tastes like a Boston Cream Donut? That's disgusting. And how come they didn't come up with just the chocolate frosted donut? And that's it, because you figure that just flat out chocolate, that would attract people itself.
Now, is it frosting or sprinkles? There's some people that like.
James says the McDonald's here in Tampico, Mexico, closed down. People here don't like American fast food. Listen, man, if you could get local food, I would probably rather have that too. Most people would.
Speaking of donuts, did you see the story about the guy that at Krispy Kreme took the glazed donut and ran it through the glazed conveyor 25 times?
Oh, yeah, and he built it up, yeah.
Called it a monstrosity.
Yeah.
Look, we both love.
Sugar,
that's my favorite. That's too much.
That's too much. Yeah,
I want
that
just
gives you a heart attack right away.
Want a light coating. That's it.
Yep. George says, Big O, whatever happened to your discipline with your diet? It's gone. I have to get back on, man. I just I have completely lost all motivation on my lifestyle, not diet. So yeah, I drink a lot of water still, but I still cheat too much now at this point. It's just the whole quarantine thing.
Bro, you're at least drinking water. Back in the day, man, you were a Coke guy, and that was it.
Yeah, no, I drink a lot of water, but
at least
still,
drinking water, bro.
But it's still, I have lost total discipline, my brother. Total discipline. Let's see. Give me a good IPA any day. Yeah, but do you want a Dunkin' Donut Jelly Donut IPA? Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't want no Jelly Donut IPA. Juice?
Yeah, it's like a beer, like
Fruit juicy beer.
Pretty fancy stuff, but it's delicious. It's like drinking like a fresh pressed juice of
So why don't you just have a wine cooler?
So then, yeah, just have. Why don't you just have juice?
Right.
So why don't you just get cranberry and put a little vodka in it? You know what I mean?
Get you a bottle of Bacardi 151 and squirt some flavoring into it. And there you go.
Yeah, I mean, for that, just do that. When I want a beer, I want a beer. That's my problem with that. I don't want a fruity beer. I don't want to flavor up my beer. I want my beer. That's just the way it is. You know? If I want a flavored beer, make it a chocolate stout. Damn, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, I just give me a strong ass ale and I'm good, bro.
I will say this, okay? Back when it goes back probably 8 years, whatever, when we were in the World Cup, and we had to get up in the morning to see the U.S. play. Tom's would open up, and we would be doing shots of Patron coffee, tequila coffee flavor. That was like our breakfast. Okay, imagine 7, 8 in the morning. That is absolutely, I have to say, that is delicious. Patron coffee, wow.
Ronald says, those flavors might work as coffee flavors, but definitely not as beer flavors. Give me a Coors or a Coors Light. There you go. Coors, good beer, dude. Nice and smooth. I like Coors. Big O, take control of your health, brother. Heart healthy stuff, please. We need you. Thank you, my brother. We will try, man. I got to get back on track. I do. It's just the motivation to stay on track is just brutal for me sometimes. That's my real problem. I have very little discipline when it comes to food.
When you're
I give in to food quickly.
Whenever your schedule or your routine gets changed, especially your diet goes erratic, and because of obviously the pandemic, plus now Inter Miami, and that involved I remember the days me working on the dock. It was like try to eat healthy and this and that, but between work and man, it's just grab whatever out of the drive-through and bada bing, and I put something in my stomach. That's what it's about. It's hard when your schedule goes awry to stay to whatever regiment you're trying to do diet-wise. It is tough.
I'll make it more simple than that. I'm a failure. I missed. That's it.
Dude, look, the way you used to
I don't like to make me excuses.
Yeah, but bro,
I'm not doing it.
You never would drink water.
No, I know.
You're at least doing that, dude. Seriously.
No, I know
I'm
that.
Really happy with that.
I don't care about that. I mean, that's nice, but it's just, I'm not doing the right things. It's just, it's all my fault. No excuses. I don't like making excuses. I'm not an excuse guy. I'm just, I'm screwing it up. That's all. And I got to get back on track. No other way to shape it out. Kima Silverand, if you guys remember, he's the kid that tried to sneak the girl into the bubble and got kicked out, right? Well, not a bubble, but, kind of the team hotel that it was kind of their own bubble. In
Seattle, if I remember correctly,
yes.
Right?
So Kima says he's sorry about trying to sneak a woman in, saying his straight-up actions were absolutely inexcusable. And so, as you all know, they cut him 2 weeks ago. He says after taking time to reflect and really consider, hold on a second as I hit the, here we go. All right. And as I consider the seriousness of my actions, I have tried to find the appropriate words to apologize to all that have affected by my poor decision and immaturity. I've privately apologized to Coach Carroll, John Schneider, and the entire organization. I have violated team rules, which would be unacceptable in normal times, but absolutely inexcusable now during a pandemic. I understand my lapse in judgment not only put myself at risk, but also my teammates and the organization at risk. Thankfully, no one else was affected by any of my actions. I want everyone to know that I am truly sorry, hold myself accountable, and I'm ready to move forward. I want to make sure this one mistake will not define me, and I will continue training harder than ever to continue pursuing my dream of playing in the National Football League. When I read that in that story, I said to myself, I want to pull for Kima Silverand. Because, look, none of us are perfect. We're all going to screw up. The question is, when you screw up, Are you going to make excuses about it? Like what we were just talking about. I'm not going to make excuses. I screwed up. It's my fault. I should have better discipline, no matter what my routine is on my food, and I haven't lately, to be honest with you. And so, Kemah made a terrible mistake that he could have put his teammates at major risk. He could have caused a complete outbreak on that team. It was stupid on his part. You know what I mean? But I'm one of those guys that I don't have a lot of sympathy for you if you're screwing up and there's ignorance and there's denial and you're constantly fighting it and you're not willing to accept your responsibilities and your mistakes. I don't have a lot of patience for that. Okay? But if you're willing to talk about your mistakes, you're willing to address them and know that you are screwing up, okay? And then clearly he has realized that his career is flashing before his eyes, right? Because that's what you're talking about a guy that's a 7th round pick? You're talking about a guy that is, barely a chance to make a team as it is. And you're going to do something stupid like that, and especially in a season like this. But at least to come out publicly, he also wrote a note to his teammates to apologize to them. Now, I don't know how good this player is. You know what I mean? I don't know what kind of skills he has. But John Schneider's a pretty damn good GM. And if he felt like you deserve a shot on an NFL roster, you got to have some kind of talent. I hope, and it's not going to be this year, or maybe it will be. Maybe somebody has some injuries and they give the kid a chance. But I hope he does get an opportunity. If not this year when somebody has some injuries, next year somebody opens up the doors for him in training camp and allows him to come in, and hopefully he handles that. I believe he will handle everything the right way this time around because I think he learned his lesson. But Kemah Silverand, I'm pulling for you, my man. I hope you get that second chance. You definitely deserve it, man. Let's see. Big O, you were doing great with that diet. Get back there, pal. Yeah, I got you, George. I got you. I feel you, Big O. I was working Weight Watchers before quarantine and lost 37.5 pounds. Unfortunately, I put 20 during the quarantine. So I suck, man. What can I tell you? It's been a battle for me my whole life. Up and down, up and down, up and down. You know what I mean? Take your 4 dogs a walk with a huge bottle of water. If there's time, take your pet lizard for a walk, too.
You can walk by the canal. The iguana will be very happy.
Oh, Lordy. IPA is a strong ale, a little happy. Don't like the flavored ones. Coors is like drinking piss water. LOL. So Jay's not a fan of Coors. Okay.
Coors Light. The banquet beer, the standard Coors, that's not, but yeah, Coors Light.
I like Coors Light.
It's really watered down, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, Miller, Bud, Coors, those aren't like strong beers. You know what I mean?
But I'm talking about the light. When you go light, it's...
No, but when I drink any of those kind of beers, I'm kind of like, I know I'm not really taking my beer drinking that serious. I'm just kind of having a casual beer and I'm done.
Right.
It's probably because that's the beer that's available. You know what I mean? If I have my choice, it's going to be a strong ale. That's usually.
Have you tried to? You know what? You know me
it'll be a darker beer usually in my hand. If it's up to me, then I'll get a Heineken. I'll get a Newcastle. I'll get something along those lines.
Okay, but this is this because of my Crohn's and some people that have that issue. The fiber, the wheat, the Bud Light had the lowest. I made a modification to that and actually Bud Light Platinum. Go with the Platinum Buds. Man, they got something going on there.
I think NorCal goes with the Platinum Buds too. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the text line. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the text line. Jerry Jones, speaking of football, he is looking for a little compromise. How about that, Jerry?
You want to do a little, because we're at 46 minutes right now, or do you want to keep cruising?
All right. Jerry Jones, he wants to compromise with the players. Remember that bull crap he pulled last time? And he got everybody hand in hand, and they all kneeled down before the national anthem and all of that. So Jerry is going to try to make the players do that again. Now, Dontari Poe, who they signed Dontari Poe in the offseason, he's already said he's kneeling during the national anthem. I don't think Jerry Jones cares what the public is going to think about him. But I don't know if he's prepared for the bad PR that he's about to face. But according to him, he says at the end of the day was a recognition that we supported our players when they kneeled before. I knelt with our players, as you know, on a personal basis, but as a team, we all knelt together before the anthem, and then we stood for the anthem to recognize what its symbol is to America. I thought that was good. That's the kind of thing we'll be looking to see if we can implement. And I got to tell you something. I am praying that all the Dallas Cowboy players tell Jerry Jones to go F himself. And if they don't, I will be ripping every wussy-ass player that kneels before the national anthem. And if they want to be gutless, then go ahead. I'll be ripping them. Okay? I ripped them last time they did this. I ripped Jerry Jones, and I ripped every one of those players because they were his bitch that day. I've told you this many times. Protests aren't supposed to be comfortable. Protests are done in uncomfortable moments. That's history. Okay? Nobody protests. We want to protest. Oh, okay, do us a favor. Do it in this backyard down the street behind 400 trees. And nobody will notice, and that'll be great, and that'll be fantastic. Okay, yeah, we'll do it over there. No, we're doing it right in front of the building. We're doing it right in front of this person's house. We're going to do it right on this whatever, because that's the way it's done. That's how protests have been done from the beginning of time. They're done in places that brings attention to what they're protesting. And my Lord, we're watching the Jacob Blake shooting, and it's like as fresh as it could get. The guy's paralyzed. They pumped 7 bullets into him. There are 3 cops there. They easily could have tackled his ass, and they didn't. And now you're going to do this for Jerry Jones? Come on, man. Kidding me? Look, I was thinking about this. I got a way of solving the cop issue in our country. Okay? It's there are going to be some sacrifices that have to be made. It'll be a short career, but you'll make a lot of money during that short career. Here's what I suggest, okay? I suggest that cops are cops for only 10 years, somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 to 35 years old. Around that age, around that window. Maybe somebody can get in at 24, somebody gets in at 26 or 27, but something around there, and you're only there for you can only be there for 10 years. Do you know why? It's like an athlete. This is athletically and mentally, this is your peak. So what you do is you get out of high school, maybe you go to college a little bit, but you're going to have to go to an academy for a couple of years where you're going to learn martial arts, where you're going to learn the art of taking an opponent down, a criminal down, without actually hurting yourself, without hurting anybody else, and at the same time not resorting to just desperately shooting somebody because you physically can't handle it. It's like the scene at Wendy's. The guy kicks both police officers' asses. Those officers should not be officers. That's all. Listen, man. if your ass gets fat like me, and you're sitting at a Dunkin' Donuts or a Krispy Kreme, whatever, you know what I mean? Because you don't have enough class to actually go to a real donut place, but whatever. You go, you're hanging out at these donut places. You're stuffing your face. You're fat. You're slow. You're old. No wonder you can't handle criminals at times. No wonder you're going to panic and you're going to end up killing somebody in the process. Okay? So let's treat this like an elite job, because that's what it is. You are working with human beings. You're dealing with criminals, right? You're dealing with decent people. So your mental capability has to be at a high level to be able to understand and decipher everything. You pay them $150,000 a year. Like I said, you work, but you're only going to make it for 10 years. Okay? There's no retirement after this. No, you got to go find another job after you're 35, 36, 37 when you're out. Why? Because we can't have you at 45. You're too old then. So you keep them fresh. You pay them a high salary. They're in, they're out. Okay? A lot of people will take that job and make $1.5 million for 10 years. It's up to you what you do with that money. But that way, you don't keep cops on too long. You demand them to be in exceptional shape, all of them. Okay? That's part of the regimen. Mentally, they're constantly tested for a couple of years in pressure situations. Do they know how to take down not an opponent, but a criminal, a suspect, whatever? Take this job seriously. The problem is, in our country, we've hired too many slapdicks to actually be cops. We've hired too many postalitas that want to be police officers, right? You know, you've seen them. You know what I'm talking about. Those guys that want to hit the weight room a little bit. They want to look tough. And, they're racist, they're biased, they're anger, all that. And they use the badge just to flex those things. These kind of people must be tested and tested over again for a few years before you put them out. It's funny. You want to work for Burns Steakhouse and you want to be their waiter? Well, dude, you got to go work on the farm. And you got to go learn everything else from dishwashing to everything else before you get out there. Right? Well, maybe we need to treat our police officers that way too. They need to have extensive type training. And yes, we're going to have to spend some money on these people, but guess what we're going to spend less on? Lawsuits. Guess what's also going to happen? Less deaths. And maybe little to no reckless type of behavior by police officers. Because you got to make it really hard to be one. But do it for a short time. It's such a stressful job that they should not be doing it for 20, 30 years. Shouldn't. And we should demand them to be exceptionally in shape. They all have to be in great shape. I mean, that's what I think. I was thinking about this. And it's like we keep having all these problems because the wrong people. When I watched that whole Jacob Blake situation, and he's following the guy with the gun all the way through, and I'm like, dude, why aren't you tackling this guy? Just tackle him, man. There's three people. There's two trailing behind him and one guy behind those two. Bro, you got three guys. You can't subdue somebody? Don't let him get to the car. And then when he's he's there with his kids, and you could avoid all of this if you're competent. You can avoid all of this if you're athletically fit. And if you look at those cops, especially the one that's chasing him in, he's a little pudgy dude. And you think other cops around the country didn't see the two guys getting their asses kicked in the Wendy's when they shot that guy? And that's your problem there. You got cops that are bad, cops that panic, and then they settle for the only thing they can do, shoot. Why? Because they can't defend themselves. So why are they cops? I don't get it. Pay them money, man, but make the demands amazing. You want to make 150? Sure, you got to look like a wall. You got to be in great shape. You got to be able to run. You got to be able to lift. You got to be able to be a fighter. You know what I mean? You got to have real skill. And if you don't have it, then you can't be a police officer. That's all.
Some psychology courses and
Definitely.
then martial art.
Couple years, bro.
Specialized training in pressure points that, like, it weakens your body, the neck, that type of stuff.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Well, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
No, but that, like O said, you spend the money on them and you get better cops, and then you don't have all the lawsuits and all the issues.
Cop requirements in 2020 are to be a fat ass, play Candy Crush, and do stupid lip sync challenges, and be a connoisseur of glazed lard treasures. There you go. RoboCop is coming. Computer judges are coming very soon. Love it.
2 minutes away from 1 hour of talking.
I don't know what you're doing there. Anyway, what's it called? Big O, you may be onto something, my brother. Well, I don't know if I'm onto something, but I was just looking at it and going, we're going about it the wrong way. We have to make this job elite. We have to make this job super special. So you have to build these kind of people up. First, you have to find out if they have the mental capability and the physical capability, and then you train them. And it has to be something that takes a few years. It can't be a couple months and you're ready to go and you're out there. No, man, I'm sorry. And it should be a short time. 10 years is more than enough. That's all. I don't think a cop should be around for 20, 30 years. I just don't.
You know what's one thing I'm interested that we haven't heard about, the Jacob Blake situation with the officers? Do they have a history of overreacting? Oh, because like the other cops, we've heard that they had 20 reprimands in this. We have not heard anything about that. I'm interested to see what their history is.
We'll see. It always starts at the top. Cops are either improperly trained or going through image training to be more aggressive towards blacks. It has to stop. Big O, they tried to tackle him and they got away. That's my point, bro. That's my point.
You're not physically adequate for the job.
Right. That's all. That guy wasn't. I didn't see Jakeem Grant running from them. Now I understand why you can't catch him. Because it's Jakeem Grant. The dude runs 4.3. The guy I saw, come on, man. Come on. If you got to resort to shooting the guy in the back 7 times, then you're a terrible cop, dude. I'm sorry. That's my point. You're not trained enough.
If I'm not mistaken.
The 2 guys that got their asses kicked in Wendy's, they don't deserve to be cops. They don't. I'm sorry. 2 guys cannot get overpowered by 1, but 2 guys get overpowered when they look like me and they eat at Dunkin' Donuts every day. That's what happens.
I think the requirement, I want to say, was like, what, a 10-minute mile? Like, you can almost speed walk.
I don't know.
A 10-minute mile.
I don't know, and what I do know is I see the end result. And there are too many of them out there that are completely out of shape, and they're not ready to be cops, and no wonder they end up doing what they do because they can't defend themselves. It's like when you see a security guard, and he's like an 80-year-old man, and you're like, what's he doing there? He's not going to be fast enough to reach the damn radio or the phone. Forget protecting anybody.
He's sitting in the chair in the front of the store falling asleep.
Right. What's he going to do? But that's not real security. Come on, dude. Miami PD budget would have to be $705 million per year just for salary, not including benefits. Hey, man, listen. it's a lot. If you spend some money in actual preparation of these people, you will have less PR damage, less people will die, less senseless acts of crime will be committed. And to me, that's all that is worth what you're going to do. And I'd rather pay a guy or a woman $150 per year, okay, for 10 years where they make really good money than pay some lazy fat ass that does a terrible job for 25 years.
Also, with your idea, like you said, no pension, no this, you don't have the pension funds, which right there, the coffers are a little bit more because
no
police,
pension.
because I can tell you Metro-Dade, when they do security and this and that goes toward their pension. And when the post 9/11 stuff, and they had all these Metro-Dade cops down at the Port of Miami, okay, they were all making $700 a night, and their pension funds went crazy. And these guys that were going to stay for 25, 30 were able to work 2 years out there, and their pension funds retirements were like $125,000 because of the hours they accumulated during that time.
Yeah.
And the pension funds being eliminated, the money's there.
Yeah, you take out. I don't want. You're only working for 10 years. You make good money, bro. You make 1.5.
It's up to you. It's up to you.
You make 1.5 million,
Yeah.
and you put away, and then you can start another business, or you want to move into if you're a really good cop, then they move you ahead to be a guy that trains other cops. You know what I mean? Maybe you get that job. You know those kind of things. Not everybody's going to have a job after that. You may have to move into another business. I'm sorry, but there aren't a lot of jobs that pay $150,000 a year, right? So you do that, and that's it. And maybe you give them a 5% increase every year during those 10 years, whatever, if you want to do that. But you got to do things the right way. You got to spend a little money into this, but kind of make other adjustments a lot. That's why I said I don't want a cop around 20, 25 years burnt out. No, man, keep them 10. You keep them somewhat fresh. They're in amazing shape, right? And then they're there during their peak years, right around 25, 35, where athletically they are going to be able to handle practically anything that they face. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, if you got to arrest Mike Tyson, that's going to be difficult. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a strong, mean dude. So if you're going to arrest a guy like that, that's going to be a challenge for anybody. But the dude that, Jacob Blake that I saw running into the truck, that guy easily could have been tackled. The guy at Wendy's should have been handled. You know what I mean? Guy's running away. I already talked about that one at Wendy's. Those two guys get their asses kicked. The guy takes off. Bro, let him go. That's what smart cops do. You let him go. You call back for backup. You say, hey, let's put on a perimeter. Let's search for him, and you corral his ass. That's what you do. But you ended up in a desperate way because you couldn't handle it physically. You just got your ass kicked. You end up shooting the guy. That's a cop that doesn't have the mental capability to be that position. That's what I'm saying. You got to shorten the tenure. Okay, so that way also dirty stuff doesn't develop over time.
You have higher quality officers.
Yes.
They bring up the quality of every officer that's out there.
That's all you got to do, man. I'm sorry, but you got to somehow weed out the current system that you have because you're not creating good cops on a daily basis. You have good cops, but they're not all good. And that's the problem. The bad ones are killing you.
And the good ones get overshadowed by the bad ones are the ones that hit it's like the bad offense. The only time the offensive lineman's talked about is when he has a penalty. Same idea. The bad ones are the only ones mentioned.
There is a big problem with young cops. They are horny, and some of them will use their badges to hook up with manipulate hotties. That's been going on forever, dude. Cops hitting on women. That's been going on forever. You know? All righty. Let's take a break. We are in the last hour already into the 1 o'clock hour. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. Back with more right here on The Big O Show.
It's a buyer's Buyers Market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right, we're back. If you want to get in, you can reach out to us on the text line 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the program, RVA, by the way, on the text line says, did you hear about the Washington Post article in reference to Dan Snyder and see trafficking rumors? No, I have not. I have not seen anything there about Snyder and trafficking. That's kind of strong stuff there. I'll see if I can look it up, and then we'll get to it, my brother. Appreciate you giving me the heads up on that one, man, because that is one dude that, man, they're dying to get rid of him, aren't they? Wow.
Rightfully so, man. If I was a Redskin fan, I would be upset. Tennessee, what's up, baby?
You know? What's happening, man? How you doing? Tennessee, man. All right, Tennessee is in the house. Anyway, so a bunch of things to talk about here on the program. If you want to get in, you can reach out to us on the text line, on Twitter, at Big O Show, as always, on the YouTube chat board, which we got plenty of people on the YouTube chat board. And, of course, we got the super chat going on, plenty of things going on. So I told you about Jerry Jones and his ignorant ways, as we say. The other one that I thought was kind of interesting was George Hill. Can we play that a little bit, the George Hill stuff? George Hill, while you've got Jerry Jones still not understanding why the battle for, racial equity and everything that's been going on, and hell, we're just watching, the Jacob Blake shooting, which is disgusting as it is. George Hill Now, this one's interesting. I got an interesting take on this, or maybe, I don't know, maybe it's not a fair take by some, but George is one of those guys that's very conscious about what's going on in the world. And the fact that he's in the bubble at this point in time leaves the Milwaukee Bucks guard, let's just say, a little dumbfounded. Go ahead.
Just sickening. It's heartless. It's a situation. Like I said, you're supposed to look at the police to protect and serve, and now it's looked at harass or shoot. We're down here playing the bubble to do these things for social justice and all that, and to see it still going on, and we're just playing the games like it's nothing. It's just a really messed up situation right now.
What do you feel like you or you all can do from Orlando, from the position that you're in right now?
I mean, we can't do anything. First of all, we shouldn't even came to this damn place, to be honest. I think coming here just took all the focal points off of what the issues are. But we're here, so it is what it is.
Now, look, I respect what George is saying to a certain extent because he's talking about what's going on in society right now, right? And it's true. But the part where I got to kind of, and this is what I would do in an interview with him, I would say, what can you do? If you weren't in the bubble, what were you going to do? Are you going to be with the people protesting? What's that going to get you? What, George Hill being part of the protest is going to stop that cop from shooting Jacob Blake? No. All the stuff that still goes on with bad cops is still going to go on, George Hill, whether you're in the bubble or you're not. And if you guys didn't report to the bubble and you held out and didn't play the season, you wouldn't at least have the platform to at least try to send the message out to folks. And every time there's one of these incidents and every time we magnify it, we reach people we didn't reach the first time around and the second time around and the 40th time around and the 100th time around. My Lord, you know, we're talking about a man in Martin Luther King who was talking about this 50 years ago. A half a century later, we're still dealing with a lot of the same issues. So whether George Hill is in the bubble or not, if you weren't in the bubble, my man, you actually would not be, you help out more in the bubble than you do outside the bubble. Somebody tell George Hill that he doesn't mean shit inside a protest. He's just part of 10,000 people in a protest. He doesn't mean anything. He's not stopping anything. He's not going to stop that cop from shooting Blake. He's not going to stop him whether he's in a protest or where he's in the bubble. But at least in the bubble, you have the television camera. If you're stuck with 1,000 people or 10,000 people protesting, you ain't jack, dude. Nobody's going to notice you. Cameras aren't going to be zoomed in on you. They're not. And you're not going to do anything. So this attitude, oh, I don't know why we came here. Well, you went there because it's your job. You went there because your company, the NBA, is allowing everything to go on. You can send any message you want in every interview, on the floor, the message is there, everywhere. If he thought he was going to, what was he going to do outside the bubble? Nothing. That's the part that George Hill doesn't get. He's more impactful in the bubble. That interview right there that he did is more impactful than anything he will do outside the bubble. Even though it was kind of dumb on his part because he doesn't realize it. Plenty of people. You know what would happen to George if he's out protesting? He'll end up with COVID. He might get arrested. He might get tear gassed. I mean, you know what I mean? You're not doing anything. So it's, oh, we shouldn't have come here. Oh, give me a break, dude. Like, I love how some of these guys make it sound like the bubble is the worst thing in the world. Did you hear Paul George? Do we have Paul George there? Can we play Paul George? How about Paul George's wimpy ass, right? You know, he busted out yesterday, but he's been struggling big time, right? So here's Paul George talking about the bubble. Here we go. Ready?
Whatever it was, I mean, the bubble got the best of me. I was just in a dark place. I really wasn't here. I checked out. So these past couple games, it was just difficult. But, you know, shout out to people that stood behind me, that was in my corner, the positivity, my teammates, my family, friends, everybody. Thank everybody that reached out to me. I was just in a bad place, and I found my way. I'm back, and I look forward to the rest of this run.
What'd you find your way, dude? Well, what's so bad about where you're at?
By the way, Mickey Mouse is very offended. He's tried to do everything and make it as nice as they can. Mickey Mouse is upset.
So, look, man, you think about this with Paul George. What dark place are you in, bro? You're getting paid millions of dollars to play a basketball game, so you're stuck in a bubble for a couple of months. You know how many sailors go out to sea for a year or 2 or 3? You know how many people sometimes have to move for a job and they have to move away from their family? How many Americans make all kinds of sacrifices so they can provide for their families? Oh, and Paul George is in a dark place. Thanks to everybody that hung in there with me. Your wimpy ass was choking out like a dog in this playoff series, and you finally woke up. Plain and simple. Well, I was in a dark place. Oh, get the hell out of here, dude. Tell me that you got something going on in your life. Something happened with your family, then I can say you're in a dark place. Oh, life is so hard for NBA players in a bubble. Oh, I'm supposed to feel so sorry for Paul George. Pobrecito. Little Paul George. He was in a dark place. You know, but I'm out now. Now that I scored 40 points, I'm out now. Or you're out of your struggle? You're out of your choke scene? Is that what it is? But you want to make it a dark place. Add drama to it. I mean, you tell me, you know, somebody's sick in my family. I've been thinking about my daughter, my son, my wife, my grandfather, my grandmother. They're really hurting. They're in the hospital. I need this. I want to leave the bubble, but I can't. I'm in a dark place. Okay, I get it. All right. You're not performing in the bubble? Oh, you know, I've tuned out the last couple of games. Oh, pobrecito. So you got nothing else to do but play these games, and you're going to tune them out. Come on, bro. Suck it up, man. You know what I mean? It's amazing. Paul George. What an embarrassment. The NBA and the players should donate their profits to help build the black businesses looted and burned to the ground by protesters they support. Are those protesters or are those looters and rioters? Not sure. I don't know what they are. Because I think some of them are just criminals. I don't think they're protesters at all. I think once you loot, maybe what we should do is jail all of them. That's the problem. That's what we need to do to all the looters and all the people that are rioting. If you're protesting in peace, more power to you. Protect you. You know what I mean? But what are you going to do? It's that's too easy to assume that all of the people rioting are protesters. Maybe they're just punks that like to vandalize. That doesn't mean we're supporting them, right? But again, a person that says what you just said, you have your spin, and you're led by politics. You have no objectivity because you just assumed that everybody that's rioting has to be somebody that is only of the Black Lives Movement. You know what I mean? And that's just wrong. Because there are plenty of people that look at this situation, and since they're criminals, They just want to take advantage of it. Has nothing to do with the cause. They're not in for the cause. They don't care about the cause. They're just in for themselves. They want to get the little TV in the window. They want to go grab, whatever it is that they're going to steal from the pharmacy or the supermarket. They don't care about the protest. They don't care about black lives, Asian lives, Hispanic lives. They don't care about any lives, dude. They care about crimes because those are criminals. But again, in your agenda, in your political agenda, that's what you like to spin because that's the problem in this country. If you're Republican, you spin it one way, and if you're Democrat, you spin it another way. That's what happens when politics get involved and you don't have, I guess you don't have the vision to actually see things objectively. That's all. Everybody that's rioting, they must be Democrats. Of course. Definitely. It's fine. It's fantastic. What can I tell you, man? Yeah, that's something that you get all the time right there. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the text line. That's 786-322-1105. Cameron Smith, I thought was an interesting story. I don't know if you guys heard about this, and it's hopefully it has a really happy ending. So far, it's taken the first step to that happy ending. But Cameron Smith, the linebacker for the Vikings, the team says he had open heart surgery on Monday, just a few weeks after a COVID testing found a heart issue. Smith said earlier this month that he had been diagnosed with coronavirus. His doctors did further testing and discovered that he had an irregular valve in his heart, and it could have killed him. It's a blessing that we found this, Smith said, as my heart is severely enlarged and wouldn't have lasted much longer. Head coach Mike Zimmer said Tuesday Smith underwent the operation and is still recovering at the hospital. He's added that the 23-year-old can rejoin his teammates later this season. At least he's hopeful that that will happen. By no means am I ready to be done playing with football, Smith said. There's so much more I want to accomplish on the field. I'm going to attack this like everything else I have in life. Already looking forward to the comeback. So, again, here's another guy. You get COVID. He has an enlarged heart. Then they find that he's got a valve that's bad, and they're able to fix that valve. And now, hopefully, he will be able to return to football, whether it's later on in the season or probably, I think it's going to be something about next year. That's what I think is going to end up happening. We'll see. Kenneth Cleveland, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you with the little super chat. Big O, Kenneth Cleveland, is back from the Havana and is now in South Florida Boom Boom Room. I invited Halle Berry to come on by just for you. All right, when she gets there, tell me, because I'll be there like within 3 seconds.
Are you calling in her and telling them you got to go see Halle Berry, bro?
Well, if she gets there, for sure. If she gets there, we got to drop the broadcast and got to move on to
can
Halle.
I forget about podcasting and go with you, man?
Yeah, no, you can stay here. I am greedy, not sharing whatsoever. Don Parlamento says, no protesters have been arrested for looting or rioting. Only white supremacists. Do your homework. I love it. Radically says the BLM protesters should be grabbing and holding down the looters and burners until the police get there or take them to the police. Yeah, because that's their job, right? It's their job to be cops, right? Yeah, of course. That of course, sounds very logical. Yes. Yeah, that's what we want to do. Empower regular people to go out and use force on others. And then how do you settle that in court? When there's no cops and no witnesses, it's criminal and protester. And how are you going to believe what? Yeah, that's really going to help out. I don't think you've thought about it very much legally on on the ramifications of something like that. It sounds good. It sounds like a lot of fun. Don Parlamento gives us a little love on a super chat. Saw yesterday where the Lions ended up canceling practice. And I'll tell you this. I know that they canceled practice so they can speak on the Jacob Blake shooting. And I thought that was great because, again, it gives them a platform. It's a moment that they're able to send a message out and reach people. And I love that. And, you know, I talked about what happened with George Hill. Now there's some talk in the NBA about possibly, you know, not playing a game or things like that, or kind of boycotting. My suggestion to NBA players, don't boycott, man. That doesn't help you. Because if you boycott, then you're not on the court. If you boycott, they're not interviewing you. You know what I'm saying? So if you have the game, that's where you're going to have a large audience watching you. If you just do an interview on the side that an ESPN reporter picks up, they send it to the satellite, and then they replay it later on the show, okay, a few people are going to watch it. But if you're in the middle of a game, you got millions of people watching. That's why the last thing you want to do in the NBA is actually boycott any games. The biggest stage you have is during those games. You get to reach more people. I'm just saying, because there's been talk about, you know, some players talking about, oh, well, maybe we won't play the game and things like that. To me, that makes no sense. It's the same silliness that George Hill was, oh, I don't know why we're here. Well, dude, actually, you're better off there. Okay? Stuff out in the street isn't secure enough that, you know what, George, I started off on the show by, we were talking about the Megan Thee Stallion video, right? And I said, you know, she's got to learn to hang around people that have as much to lose as her. Okay? George Hill, you don't want to just go out with the common folk out there protesting, because there's always a couple of idiots in those groups. And then they could hurt you in the process. You don't need that, dude. In the bubble, you have all the exposure you want. Okay? You're going to get your message out, and you're going to be protected at the same time. And that's really, really important. You don't need any of that. Look at Mackenzie Alexander, the poor man searching for his dad, and he got arrested in the process. You know, it's, you know, just stay where you're at, man. It's a great place. And the idea from the get-go that players had that doing this would give them the stage. I think LeBron's the one that said it. And LeBron usually is playing chess when everybody's playing checkers. And he was right. You can protest all you want, man, but you just be another masked face, or semi-masked, because half these protesters are idiots too. They don't have masks on. But you're just another face in the crowd. And that, you know, if you notice the attention on all these protests, it's not the same anymore. It kind of happened. You know when they get attention? When they're rioting and looting.
That's the only thing you hear about. That's the only thing you hear about.
All right, that's what you hear now, because what sells on news is destruction, is train wrecks, is things like that. So calm protests are just boring. You know what I mean? It's like if I sat here and I read, you know, oh, the Marlins went to a hospital today to visit some kids. The Dolphins went to a food bank today and fed 1,000 people. And the Panthers went and did and you'd be, right? But if I tell you, oh, you know, Curtis Weaver smacked Flores in the face and they had it out in practice. What? We love talking about that. We want to talk about a train wreck. It's the way it is, man.
You know, that platform thing, you know what I always think about? The 68 Olympics, John Carlos on the platform. If he hadn't won when he does the Black Power, like if he's over on the side, it doesn't have any impact. He's on the platform getting the gold medal. That's why there's attention.
Right. And to this day,
you have the spotlight.
And
use it, right?
And to this day, that shot of them first and second with the Black Power fist up is still used to this day.
MLS, right? The MLS players before each game were doing. They're
still doing it.
Yeah, you have a platform. You've got the spotlight. Use it.
Yeah, we just did it on Saturday over at Fort Lauderdale, and they'll do it tonight. Julius 305 says, thank you both for your service. I don't think you're talking to me, right? You guys are you talking to somebody there that's military or something? Because I don't think we're doing much service here. Let's see. Kenneth, I'm envious. Oh, okay, because we're all envious if we get Hallie there. Kenneth Cleveland says, Super Boom got 3 boxes of Cohibas. Oh, now that's nice. Dougie, I was staff sergeant in the Air Force saying hello to my fellow CBs. Ah, there we go. That's the service stuff. Well, thank you, Super Boom Shack, for your service. Appreciate you, my man. Let's see. What else do we have? Let's see. Well, a lot of stuff between you guys. All right. Wait, we got to take a break? Oh, yeah, we're at the bottom of the hour. All right, let's take a quick break. If you want to get in, 786-322-1105. You can reach out to us, of course. Brought to you by VSS West Pines. We're out here, 12397 Pembroke Road, baby. Tomorrow, we'll be at Toyota of Hollywood, 1841 North State Road 7. Come on by and say hi. Hopefully, we'll be talking about a win for Inter Miami. That would be really, really nice. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back with more right here on The Big O Show.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021. At Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
We're back at VSS West Pines. Today, Brian Flores addressed the media. You know we love breaking down the Brian Flores press conference for you. We're also going to do a little Josh Rosen, too, here on the program. When you got Flores ready, tell me there, Bill. Flores, several issues. I'm sure the Weaver thing will be brought up again in this press conference with Flores. And I'm sure they'll talk about the quarterbacks, too, everything else out there. So we'll hear from the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, and we'll break it down, and we'll tell you his comments like we always do here on the program, all right? So we'll find out. Josh says, why did they release Weaver? It's And again, you're not going to find out for 2 years if it was a good move or a bad move, so we can't overreact one way or another. That's kind of what I've been trying to tell everybody, Josh. Again, I know the kid came in with some hype and all that stuff, but I just think people are overreacting. Are we ready to go? All right, we're ready? All right, here's the head coach addressing the Meteors today out of Davie. Go ahead, fire it off.
So I wanted to ask you about having practice officials out there yesterday and just kind of the benefits of those guys out there for you and for especially the rookies with no preseason, just kind of getting them used to the NFL game.
Yeah, I thought it was great to have the officials out there and, get more of a live, real look at, what game atmosphere would be like. As you would imagine in a training camp setting, there's a lot of chatter about that would have been a foul, or this would have been holding, or this would have been pass interference, or so it was good to get them out there. We tried, and I tried to talk to the players about not worrying about the official, moving on to the next play. So it was nice to let them call it, let them handle it, and whether you agree, disagree, we just have to move on. There were also just some things that we could have done better. We had a couple delayed games yesterday. There was a potential, a close 12 men in a huddle. And those are penalties we can take care of ourselves as long as we're paying attention to detail and we're, as a coaching staff and as players, we're on top of things. So it was, it's always great to have the officials and, to have a game-like atmospheres, it really felt like football.
Adam? I just want to get your thoughts on a broader philosophy with the organization about draft picks. You could have obviously hung on to Weaver for another year with another administrative decision. How do you view draft picks? And some teams might have them longer than others. In your view, if you have a feeling on a player right away, is that enough to move on?
I mean, there's a lot that goes into that question. Obviously, draft picks are very valuable. But every situation is a little bit different. I liked Weaver. I thought he was a good player. I thought he was had some potential. But his situation, like I said yesterday, when we make these decisions, there's a lot of things that go into them that, quite frankly, you guys don't you don't know much about. Whether it's the injury itself, salary cap implications, the depth at the position, next year's draft. There's 10 different things there, and we make the decision we feel is best for the organization. But obviously, there's a lot of when we make a selection, we feel good about it then, and then the transactions that happen after that, we live with them and we move on.
Cam?
Hey, Flo, just on that Curtis Weaver situation, like you said, there's stuff that we maybe don't know or aren't as informed on as you. I wanted to ask if you kind of educate us on the rule, on maybe why you decided to go injure Wave rather than putting him on IR directly.
I understand the question, Cam, but, look, we Wave injured Curtis Weaver. He was claimed. I wish him all the best. He's a good kid. He had a great time here, but, I'm
No, I haven't told you yet.
We're focused on the team today, trying to improve, trying to get better, and we'll, basically leave it at that.
Travis?
All right, so he's not going to see. Here's the problem. That was Cameron Wolf there, and Cameron wants an exact answer why he was released. He's not going to air any dirty laundry. He's not going to slam the player. And when he tells you there's a lot of things, and he tells you about the salary cap, he tells you about the players for next year. Look, first of all, let me tell you, it had nothing to do with the salary cap. They don't have the salary cap issues that they have to worry about keeping or letting go of a fifth-round pick and the ramifications from it. I'm sorry, it's a fifth-round pick. So I can call BS on that right away. But what he's trying to tell you is that he's not going to tell you what was wrong and why they let him go. He told you draft picks are valuable, but there goes a lot into that decision. And that's what I'm telling you, that there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that happens that you and I don't know about. We found out months later, okay, that Minkah Fitzpatrick out of nowhere left the safety practice and went over to practice with corners. And the coaches never wanted him to do that. They wanted him to stay over with the safeties and the linebackers. And yet he refused to do that. We didn't find out about that the second he got traded. We found out about that months later. These are things we don't find out about. So it's really, why'd they get rid of Minkah? Well, Minkah doesn't want to pay attention to the coaches. He doesn't want to buy into the scheme. All right, fine, then ship him out. But apparently everybody else that bought in got better as the year went on, and they went 5-4 down the stretch. So the people that bought in, it paid off. My point is that where we're at right now, nobody knows if Curtis Weaver's a good player or not. The overreaction on his release is ridiculous. Because if we knew he was a great player, then we can overreact. But the kid may not be able to play. He might be undersized. He may not be quick enough. He might have some kind of condition. He may be lazy. I don't know. But don't expect this guy, Flores, to be trashing players on their way out. That's not his style. By them letting him go, they told you what they feel about him. So he did not impress them since the day was drafted to 2 days ago when they traded him or released him. Go ahead, Bill.
Hey, good morning, Coach. I'm curious about your evaluation of the running game and the running backs in particular. How do you evaluate backs in a situation where maybe the tackling isn't necessarily live? And how would you evaluate your running back room so far through 7 days of camp?
I think there's a lot of competition in that room with Jordan, with Breida, with Gaskin, with Ballage, with Laird, Chandler Cox. I think there's a lot of competition in that room. The guys are, each have their own unique skill set. It's been a physical camp. Obviously we're not taking them to the ground, but there is contact defensively on the offense and defensive line. So you get a pretty good feel for, who's getting yards, what who would break what tackle. But at the running back position, it's, are they making the right cut? And I think each guy's had some good moments, had some not so good moments. We're all kind of getting better after each rep. The blocking from a protection standpoint's been good for the most part, at least as far as knowing who to block and where to go. And then in the pass game, I think they're doing a good job in the pass game as well. So good group, a lot of competition, and we just still got 7 training camp, or I don't know what day it is, 7 or 8 training camp days left, and
fluff stuff.
They'll keep competing.
Fluff questions.
Coach, what was your reaction to the Detroit Lions protest yesterday, and how much discussion was there within your team about staging some kind of protest in response to the shooting in Wisconsin?
Well, I know Matt very well, and Bob Quinn over there in Detroit. They're great friends. A lot of respect for them, that organization. A lot of history with that organization. I know a lot of the players there, and their protests. I have a lot of respect for what they did there. But our focus is on us and what we're doing here and practice. And yeah, we had some conversations about. We've had conversations about the many injustices that have gone on. In our locker room with this team, and we'll continue to do so. And, as far as, what they're doing in Detroit, we respect it. And, we respect that organization.
Josh.
Hey, Flo. Byron Jones was, a pretty big acquisition this offseason. What have you thought of his camp so far in terms of how he's, getting acclimated to new surroundings, new teammates, and obviously the personnel?
I think he's done a good job, but as you put it, I mean, he's getting acclimated. I think the heat down here for a lot of players is it's something you got to get acclimated to. I know when I showed up here, something I had to get acclimated to as well. So I think he's doing a good job. I think practices have been competitive between he, Devontae, Preston, Jakeem, really that receiver DB. The competition that's gone on there has been good, and Byron's a good player. I think he's improving every day, and he'll continue to improve. So he puts the work in. He's very diligent, and obviously it's a new system. He's still learning some of the nuances, within the system. But I think he's progressing well.
Omar?
Without live action, it's hard to judge or assess, or maybe I'm wrong, the run game and what's happening in the trenches. Do you feel like you need a live period and not live? Yeah, a live period and maybe a scrimmage. And if you do plan to have a scrimmage, when do you think is the right time for that? And how many can you handle before the season?
You really want to see some live tackling home.
Oh, I do, absolutely.
This is very evident, every day, it's something we talk about on a daily basis. Look, the health of the team is the most important thing. Maybe at some point we'll get some live tackling, but I think at least I can evaluate the run game without live tackling and get a sense of whether or not we're getting yardage or not getting yardage. But again, I think it's something that we, as a staff, we'll talk about. As far as the live tackling and the scrimmage, we're actually going to go to the stadium and practice on what day is today? Is it Saturday? Saturday. And we may have live tackling there, Omar. We may not. So we'll see then.
We got one more question. We'll go to Cam.
Hey, Flo, obviously you guys lost some reps in that slot receiver position with Albert and Allen. I wanted to see what your comfort level is in that particular position, and if you see Jakeem as an option maybe to get some of those reps inside.
I think there's a lot of competition at the receiver position. As far as slot, we've had a few guys working in there. And we've had some of the outside receivers working there as well. Devontae's been in there a little bit. Preston's been in there a little bit. Jakeem, like you mentioned, Isaiah Ford, I think he's done a good job in there. Keem as well. But I think there's a lot of competition at that position. We're going to bring the let's call it 5, 6, 7 best guys that we feel are going to help us win, and we'll be productive and block and do things in the kicking game and do things in the slot. And I think that whole group's done well. And Jakeem's part of that. I mean, you mentioned him specifically. He's part of that as well. And I think they're all working, they're all competing. So.
All right, there you go. And now let me.
So I wanted to ask you about
pause it there a second. When it comes to this wide receiver thing, let me add what I think is a bright spot to all of this, because I'm kind of a little tired of this whole, well, Albert Wilson and Allen Hurns left us, and this just really puts us in a really difficult position and all of that. And that, let me ask you guys something. Do you think Albert Wilson's the future here? Do you think Allen Hurns is the future here? Or do you think those guys were brought in and kept, or one brought in, the other one kept, for more veteran presence and leadership for the younger guys? This is a team that's building for the future. And I keep hearing this, oh, well, they got to go get receivers. Well, no, dude, they've got Devontae Parker and they've got Preston Williams starting, right? Those two are badasses, right? They've got Isaiah Ford that they've been developing the last couple of years and really took a step forward last year. And I don't know about you, but I'm super excited about watching Isaiah Ford, see if he takes the next step, because he has all the physical tools to be successful. Dude, his speed, he's got good size, he's got good hands, he can run good routes. He needs the experience, and usually receivers, it takes them a couple years. So I want to see that kid play. They picked up this kid, Gary Jennings, from Washington late last year. He's got a lot of talent. Bring him on. You got to develop him. The aforementioned Jakeem Grant. I said last year the problem with Jakeem Grant was they used him early because they had so many injuries that they had to use him as one of their main receivers. If Isaiah Ford picks it up to the point where he can become a number 3, along with Malcolm Perry, another guy that they can develop also, Jakeem Grant can play like that 4th spot and be your main return guy. But I'm kind of frustrated with all of this because they have guys that they can develop. I don't know if Kirk Merritt is going to do anything, but last time I checked, we're trying to build a team for the future. And when I screw around with you guys and I tell you Tua will be leading this team to a Super Bowl in 2 years, okay, in 2023, it's not going to be Allen Hurns catching passes or Albert Wilson. It sucks that they left because it obviously gives them depth at the position. But it's not the end of the world, man. I mean, we still have to continue to develop Jakeem Grant. We still have to develop to continue Isaiah Ford. You picked up and drafted Malcolm Perry. Let's find out what this kid can do. Can Gary Jennings do anything at all? I don't know. But let's find out, right? So this whole thing about, oh, they're so desperately bad at wide receiver and all that, we don't really know. What they are is very young at wide receiver. Outside of, let's say, Devontae Parker. Okay? Everybody else is young. So you can develop them. So that's the press conference with Brian Flores today and addressing the media. I just, it's just one of these things where I just think sometimes the problem about a 24-hour news cycle, the problem for a fan who wants 24 hours of news, there isn't news. So we end up creating it. And then we end up creating these dramatic things that really don't belong with the whole situation. You know, like I was telling you with the wide receiver thing, like I'm telling you with Curtis Weaver. It's like there's this overreaction of Curtis Weaver, like they release, Zach Thomas. When the guy hasn't proven, he might have gotten cut, who knows, by the end of training camp. Maybe he wasn't good enough. And if they don't, look, they must have some kind of standard. You don't meet the standard, you're out of here. That's it. But we have to create news. We have to make this thing out like worse than what it really is. Oh my God, our receiving core is depleted. Well, how do you know that? Jakeem Grant can play. Isaiah Ford showed you something. Malcolm Perry was drafted for a reason. Let's find out. We all love the number 1 and number 2. I'm kind of I know what Allen Hurns is. I don't need to see any more of Allen Hurns. I like him. I like him as a person. I like him as a player. But what I do know, he's just a complimentary receiver. He's not the guy that's going to put you over the top. He's a great locker room guy, a great possession guy, but that's what he is. So what, am I going to be bent out of shape because you released a number 4 wide receiver? Because that's where Allen Hurns is supposed to play. 4, 3 on a worst-case scenario. No business being a 1 or 2. a leader in the locker room, a great guy to have in meeting rooms, all that stuff. He is a positive in so many ways, but please, let's not make him out to be a Pro Bowl receiver. And I like Albert Wilson. Only problem is he's coming off a serious injury, and I almost feel like it's a blessing in disguise that he did this for the Dolphins. So they're not stuck with him because he gets injured again. Okay? Oh, so you are building for the future. Find somebody else. Let's go. That's what you're supposed to do. And that's what they did. So now we'll find out. Can Kirk Merritt do something? Can Malcolm Perry add something? Think about this. Just let's have some fun with this. Devontae Parker and Preston Williams already made the team. You and I know that. So did Isaiah Ford already, right? Because he's made the team the last couple years, and he actually had a good year last year because he actually, broke through and showed you something at the end of the year. He's making the team this year. Jakeem Grant's making the team this year. So you already have 4 wide receivers that are proven. So let's just say Malcolm Perry and Kirk Merritt also prove. You have 6. So how are you supposed to be hurting? And if you have the other 2 guys here in Hearns and Wilson, then there's less opportunity for Malcolm Perry and Kirk Merritt. Or Mac Hollins, or, Ricardo Lewis has nothing, or neither is Chester Rogers. That's nothing. But Mac Hollins and Gary Jennings, those are 2 guys that, those are kind of like on the fringe. But again, young guys, that now they get a chance. But no, let's make it dramatic. Oh, my Lord, they've got problems at wide receiver. How do we know that when a whole bunch of these guys are young as hell? So funny, man. So funny. Don't forget, folks, to download the Inter Miami app. The link to listen live is on my Twitter page if you want, because we got the game tonight at 7:30. Alex Dono and myself, along with Fernando Fiori, we will have the pregame show. We will get you ready for the pregame show. We will get you ready for the call at 8 o'clock. Chris Whittingham, Thomas Rongen, and Fernando Fiori will join you. Then we'll be back at halftime, and we'll be back on postgame. Hopefully, we get a win tonight against Atlanta, and we're talking about a big win tonight, and it's 2 in a row all of a sudden. And think about this, with Nashville next, I don't know if you know this, Bill, but Nashville is the other expansion team. So
yes, I did know.
You beat Atlanta, and you just beat Orlando.
What I was going to ask you,
chance to beat Nashville. All of a sudden, it's 3 wins in a row.
What's Atlanta? I know they won the championship a couple years ago.
Yeah, but they're not
what they were.
No, they
ever since our general manager left them, they've changed.
Miami's got a shot. Miami's got a shot tonight.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get a feel.
If they play, no, Atlanta's not dominating. If they play the way they played last week, Miami can beat Atlanta.
Okay, I was just trying to get a feel because, look, Orlando came in second in the tournament.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And, just to get a feel, like, here, we beat another, because all the games we've been in, we've lost by 1 goal every game.
Yes.
All of them.
Yes. And Atlanta's record right now is 3-3. Okay.
Okay, so probably middle of the pack.
Yeah, they're middle of the pack.
So you would want it growth, making advancement, beat a middle of the pack team, be on the other side of the pack.
Yeah, Orlando's 2-2, and these guys are 3-3. So they've got a shot, man. They've got a shot. They both have scored 6 goals on the season. Okay. Now the difference is they've allowed 5, we allowed 10. So
our Tweety guy is still not involved, right?
He's not. Matuidi? Yeah, Matuidi's not there
still,
yet.
Okay.
No, but we get Robbie Robinson today back.
All right.
Okay.
So we got some guns.
Yeah. The guy you got to look at in Atlanta tonight is Pity Martinez. Okay. I know I got to go. Dougie Fresh chimes in on a super chat. Says, I'm just curious. guys are bombarding now.
There it
with
is,
super
2
chats.
o'clock. You're not going anywhere, buddy.
I am just curious, will you wear your 3 p.m. meeting? A men's warehouse suit or a black Devo shirt that classically slips into the evening? Honestly, because you guys know I'm brutally honest with you, I have a black Inter Miami jersey in the car. Okay?
I could have told you guys. I'm surprised you don't have the pink one with the embedded logos.
I didn't want to be.
That shirt is so awesome.
That shirt, it's special
for going
nights
out. That's
that
for
I'm
going out.
And I'm not going to be around a lot of food or anything because I never want to dirty that shirt, bro.
So that's like back in the day. Remember Instant
that
Bitters?
shirt, yeah.
It's in the Mayfair, like going to that club to watch.
That shirt has to be in a place that I know I'm not going to get dirty because that shirt is so freaking awesome.
We're going to the Fountain Blue to watch Inter Miami. We're going to wear our fancy.
So I have a black Inter Miami jersey that I'm wearing tonight. I got my soccer ring ready to go, as you all see. So there you go, Dougie Fresh. So yeah, I'm wearing your shirt all the way up to like around 5 o'clock. Then I'll slip into the bathroom and put on my jersey. I will be wearing my Devo shirt in the meeting, if that's what you want. Listen, I am who I am. Anybody that hires me or I work with them or know them, I'm not changing who I am. I am who I am. You know what I mean? So I'm a rocker. You know, it is what it is. But thank you, Dougie Fresh, for the shirt. Doug and Victoria, right? If I'm correct, that's your wife's name, Victoria? If I'm correct? Thank you, my man. I appreciate you. Julius 305
Here they
says.
come.
Go ahead. Give me the.
You know, going nowhere.
He says, long snapper looking good, huh?
Here, the listeners are trying to abduct Big O and hold him right here hostage and keep him from his meeting.
Yes. Pat in Asheville also chiming in on a super chat. You guys are awesome. Pat in Asheville says, Operation Leroy Jenkins. Execute. Let's do this. Julius 305 chimes in with a second super chat. You guys are too much.
You knew this was gonna happen, right?
I didn't think
you guys are too much.
I didn't think it was
bro.
going to be bombarded like this. Gus 1388 also super chatters the
Super chatters of the world unite.
Yeah, Super Boom Shack says meetings. We don't need no stinking meetings, as he sends in a super chat. Gus 1388 says strike 2 on the super chat. He Ian from Brooklyn gets in on the whole affair, and he chimes in, says stick and stay. You know everything. Skip the meeting. Oh, Lordy, you guys are too much. Stick and stay. You know everything. Skip the meeting. You're
stuck like Chuck, bro.
Yes. Kenneth in Cleveland with a second super chat within minutes. He says, Big O, Hallie said she would come by if you stay on the feed. Well, that's not good. That's not good.
That's like torturing you, right?
Yeah.
Here, Hallie's there like a carrot in front of you, but you can't have it.
Super Boom Shack with the second super chat. So I gotta stay here, and Hallie's in the Boom Boom room, and I'm here. That's just not right, bro. That's just not right. That's torturous right there, bro. Can't do it to me. Weapons X United Super Chat. Dougie Fresh sends in another super chat. He says, "Oh, sometimes I get excited watching the AT&T chick. Do I need help if women in commercials do it for me?" Can I say something before you hit that horn for Dougie Fresh?
Go for it.
The girl in the AT&T commercial has got a rockin' body, bro.
Yeah, she does.
She's got curves. Like, you ever seen that sign?
They don't show the side angles of her enough. Okay?
Exactly. But let me tell you something. She does it for any, red-blooded human being. I'm going to say male and female because in today's world, AM, FM, 8-track cassette. But anyway, what's her name? Amy or something, the AT&T girl. Dude, you ever seen that sign that says dangerous curves ahead? That's her, bro.
Who's another one?
I'm impressed with her. She goes completely under the wire as a hottie. Like, she's not beautiful, but she has a cute face. But from neck down, smoking hot, bro. I am totally with you on that one.
You know who's got some curves that nobody ever talks about?
Who's that?
The spokesgirl for Toyota.
Yeah, she's got some
some stuff
curves
in the bottom, bro.
Yeah. You're right about that. I gotta give her credit there. So I'm with you, Dougie Fresh. That happens to me too.
Wait a minute.
I look at the AT&T girl and say, she got it.
We left Dougie out.
Pat in Asheville chimes in with a little super chat. He says, does the Dolphin mascot still have to social distance at games? Bet nobody's thought of that. Well, he's got a permanent mask on, too. Okay? So, that's one thing. That all mascots have been socially distancing, and they've got masks on and gloves and everything, so it's actually not a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? The only thing is, now you can't use a suit that somebody else used. Not that you really want to. That's kind of disgusting. Gus 1388 chimes in with a third super chat. Kenneth in Cleveland says, come on, Big O, she's in the boom boom room. Yeah, but you're not allowing me in the boom boom room, or you want to keep me here. So Kenneth drops his third super chat to torture me about Hallie being in the boom boom room. And it looks like Mark McIntyre's a horny bastard like the rest of us because he knows her name. It's Lily. There you go. Nice job by you. Let's see who's next. Julius 305. He says, how do I super chat that hot AT&T girl, Dougie? There you go. And he drops a third super chat for Super Boom Shack drops his third super chat, says, F that meeting and all future meetings. You guys are too much. And then Jesse drops in a super chat, says, where you going, man? You guys are too much.
At this pace, absolutely nowhere. Fast. Nowhere.
Mark says, actress, comedian from Uzbekistan, born here in USA. So she's from Uzbekistan, Lily? I did not know that. She got curves, man. She got curves, dude. She's got the kind of curves that the Latinos say, whoa. You know, that kind of curves. Gus 1388 with his 4th super chat of the day. And Gus goes, Milana Weintraub, AT&T girl, yum. No, she's fine, bro. I got to give it to her, man. She's fine. There's no doubt in my mind about that. Pat in Asheville says, and Pat in Asheville, by the way, drops another super chat in the process. If a player named Weaver falls while alone in the locker room, does he make a sound? Deep thoughts. You're too much. Dougie Fresh says, if you and Bill played Jeopardy with no sports questions, who would win? And that's Dougie Fresh sending in another super chat. There we go. Well, if it's math, he's going to win by miles. If it's music, I may win.
Yeah. Yeah.
It all depends on what it's all about.
Unless it's EDM.
No, yes.
No M83, no Zed, no Swedish House Mafia.
It's all him.
Yeah.
It's all him. I don't know. It all depends. It all depends. I'm not very smart, so I probably won't win any of those. So, I'll give Bill all of them.
There is one thing back in the day that we had talked about teaming up and doing that we never did.
What's that?
And that's that Super Bowl for fantasy football out in Vegas.
Oh, yes.
That you and me would have had me and O together. Yeah, because my stats and O's, not just the combination, it would be nasty. I'd put us up against just about anybody, bro. I can safely say that.
Oh, it's fantasy is definitely a fun
we go
thing.
Back. Yeah, man.
We love fantasy. Dougie Fresh, 3rd super chat of the day. Okay, and go ahead. Big O, she says it's her or the damn meeting. Well, it's definitely her, Kenneth in Cleveland, again with his 4th super chat of the day. And Gus goes, this has to be some record on super chat. There's no doubt this is a record on super chatters. Doug, what's it called? Gus 1388, you just sent in your 5th super chat of the day. Go ahead.
What?
5th super chat for
The only thing that would keep O from Holly Berry, it would have to be family.
Yes.
That would be it.
Yeah.
Just about everything else, he'd find a way.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty safe, right?
Yeah, that's pretty safe. My wife would be C-blocking me. I'm sorry, did I say that?
She does come on.
All right, I got to get out of here, bro. You guys are going to make me all this money you guys
Guess
donated,
what? He's
going to
go
pay a speeding ticket.
I was going to say, he's going to do his best, what is it? Impersonation of Mario Andretti.
Yeah, maybe.
If you're going anywhere in the area from Pembroke Pines up to where the stadium is, watch out.
Bill, you got to modernize some of your references. Sometimes we can't because there isn't, but in this case, you had one.
Okay, Jeff Gordon,
Furious.
Jimmy.
No, I'm going to do my best. Fast and Furious on the way to the stadium.
Okay.
We got young people that have no idea who Mario Andretti is, and I said Speed Racer. They have no idea. So we've got to say we're going to do our best Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious, Paul Walker.
Yes, the late Paul Walker.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yes.
Ian from Brooklyn drops in another super chat. He goes, side note, I did find a seed in my weed last night.
Yeah, but you know what? If it's the really good stuff, that's a good thing. Plant that baby. I'm just saying.
Alexa goes, Big O, you got to buy some steaks for all of us and some drinks too. Amen to that, right? Definitely. You guys are awesome.
That's
man.
one thing. I cannot wait for the day that we all can get together. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Once we get through this thing, we gotta have a planned get together somewhere, we're going to do it next year for the draft. So that gives everybody around the country and the world that listens to travel over for the Dolphins and have a great time for the draft for a couple of days. And obviously, we've got to sing our Dolphin fight song in front of Shula's bust in the Hall of Fame. That is money in the bank that we have to go do that. That's for sure. I do have this meeting that I got to rush to. Thanks to all of the super chatters as they continue. Weapons X United, Ian from Brooklyn, Pat in Nashville, Jesse Minneapolis, Don Parlamento, Kenneth Cleveland, Julius 305, Dougie Fresh, Gus 1388, Super Boom Shack, Dougie Fresh, you've sent in like 400. He sends in another one. It says, it is said that the Lord loves what's on the inside, not what's on the outside. Well, I hope he likes Burger King because that's what he's getting today. And then Pat in Asheville says, next meeting is with the Super Chat investors. Yes, you are awesome, Pat in Asheville. You are all awesome. Bill, Philippe, thank you. Thanks to all of you out there watching,
you guys
downloading.
Are too much.
Chatting, super chatting. I appreciate you all, man. You guys are just amazing, really. We will see you tomorrow. We will be on at 11 a.m.
Regular time.
At Toyota of Hollywood, as always. I love you all. Tune into the Inter-Miami game tonight. Listen to the radio broadcast if you can. Support us on the radio side. We'd appreciate it immensely. Got some other things coming with that, too. That's going to be a lot of fun. General talk show type stuff that you're going to like. Anyway, you guys all be good out there. We
wash your hands, wear masks.
Tomorrow, go Inter-Miami. We thank all the great people out here at VSS West Pines. Please come on out and visit them. 12397 Pembroke Road. Mention my name. They will take care of you as always out here for all of your CBD needs. VSS West Pines, 954-613-3367. We'll see you tomorrow. Much love.
Have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow.